Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to start. We're about to start the show for Weebs of the Ring, episode 44. It's an after show of a premium live event, Money in the Bank 2024 of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We have a packed show for tonight. We have Drew win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and all y'all are bitching online about Phil cashing for the first night. But guess what? We're gonna talk about it, cause y'all bitches are always gonna complain, but we're gonna shut you down and tell you how it is. Cause guess what? The woman Money in the Bank happened too, and it was Tiffy time. You gotta clock that in. We're on Tiffy time now, and we're gonna discuss that. Cause how's this gonna intertwine with the story of Nia Jax, who is the queen of the ring right now? So this is gonna be very curious to see who's gonna lead up to for SmackDown. Sami retains over Bron Breakker. You cannot underestimate our boy, the underdog. He always comes out on top. And Damian Priest without the help of the Judgment Day, but gets help from CM Punk to retain over Seth freaking Rollins, but then develops another story with CM Punk with Seth. What? This is what happened when you add a briefcase? Who knew? But we have. I feel like that's it, right? Am I missing any other? No, that is all of the matches. One of the biggest thing, John Cena himself came out and retire and say he's gonna answer all the questions. He was Oprah. He said, "You got a question, I will answer. You got a question, I will answer. You got a question, I will answer. No matter what." Even Triple H said it in the press conference. I was waiting for the damn last question, like it was a 7-hour pay-per-view. But you know what? This ain't gonna be a 7-hour pay-per-view. This is gonna be less than a 2-hour show, after show of Money in the Bank. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Yeet!
And with a yeet out of the way, and with hey Sydney, how you doing? Sydney woke up everybody from a nap. What is up? What is good? How's everybody doing tonight? We just got done with good old Money in the Bank 2024. It was a pretty good show, all things considering. But hey, hopefully you guys are out there in the chat. Lovely to see you guys. I already see Oblivion out there. Hopefully you're having a good night. Hopefully you're feeling better too. I saw you weren't feeling good the other day, so hopefully everything's good with you, Oblivion. But we got some old faces in the chat, but if we got any new faces, as always, welcome, welcome. And who exactly are we? Well, let me just tell you right now. We have anime in our souls, and we got thoughts of wrestling under control. And we are a trio of weebs tonight who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So, as always, allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all nerds. Grab your steel chairs, yell for the table, and get put through an experience like none other. Brought to you, as always, by AniMa Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. I, of course, am one of your lovely co-hosts, Whawkins, your world champion, not being cashed in tonight. Thank bejeebus for that. And, of course, joined by always, on my top right, we have the legend himself, Vash. Go ahead and tell the people how you doing tonight.
We are the visionary. Myself, we saw what's gonna be happening in Money in the Bank, and we told you what it was. You could have put bet money. We could have told you to put $1 million, and it would have happened, and it did. Were we happy about it? Most of us was. Was I happy about some results? Yes, I was. I didn't like the ending, but we will talk about it. But it's exciting just to see Seth freaking Rollins come out and just have a great match. I miss him. It's been a long time, 2 months, and it's just crazy to hear. 10 years later, when I first was falling off, I saw Seth Rollins as a Shield. Now I'm a fan of Seth fucking Rollins. It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear it. And of course, to my left, we have, of course, with that big drop energy, we got Drop This Box. Drop, how you feeling tonight after Money in the Bank?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm honestly feeling pretty good about tonight's show. I feel like it's going to be a legendary show just based on what we got to say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna prepare you right now, audience. Whether you're watching, us live here or you're watching the VOD later, there might be a few rants tonight, and whether they're good rants, whether they're bad rants, hey, just prepare for that. And hey, we're very passionate people, so we love things, but we also, like to kind of talk about things and clarify a few things as well. But before we get into the actual event and a lot of the action that happened tonight, well, I guess not spoiler alert. We actually had a headline come out from tonight. Like a big news thing came out tonight.
Hmm.
John Cena just out of nowhere comes out to here with Money in the Bank. Now we've seen him like in the past kind of come out, hype up the crowd and all that, and just kind of be like, "Oh, look at me, I'm John Cena at the big old PLE and all that." It was a little different this time around. Apparently, he announced his retirement tour, which is going to be starting in 2025, starting with the first Raw to hit Netflix, and just going all year. He said at the press conference he's looking at maybe 30 to 40 dates next year, which, I mean, that's almost weekly when you think about it. Like
Yeah,
that's almost like John Cena on a weekly basis.
that is John
But
Cena
yeah,
for almost
this
6 months to 8 months at least.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that's the whole year. Like when you think about it, because like there's 52 weeks in a year, and there's at least two shows, at least weekly. So like, well, I guess yeah. Now that I think about it more, yeah, maybe roughly about 6 months if he's like doing double duty and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, this just came out of nowhere. Like how are we feeling about John Cena? Like at least with our initial thoughts with it. Like I don't want to get into a big tirade about like his career and all that. I want to save that
Ex-
for like when he actually retires. But I want to start with you guys. Like I'll start with you, Vash. Like
Um,
what's your just initial reaction to all this?
like you said it perfectly. I know one day we will have like a love type of memorable type of video to express our gratitude of John Cena and his career, but like the initial thoughts is impactful. Him coming out and straight saying it that he's retired. I was I was having a couple tears. I was having a couple tears come down my eyes. Like I was sad. I was shocked. It was something that I didn't expect to see happen so soon. I knew it was bound to happen within the next couple of years. I didn't expect that he'll come out, but one thing is smart. He said during the press conference is that is a business tactic, and it's a last hoorah to bring the crowd, the fans that, like he said himself, people that did not believe in him, people that will tell him that he can't wrestle, people that tell him that he was all hype, that he was just a face, or just saying that you suck. Hearing
Hmm.
all this is like, I even told my wife, like, I want us to go to WrestleMania. I want us to try, because knowing that I have the best time that I made this content with Drop or Whawkins right now, just this opportunity where right now I'm experiencing the peak or epilogue last chapter of John Cena as a fan, and now my first time ever reviewing his wrestling matches by next year as a content creator, as a critic, but also I will be talking about his last wrestling matches of his career. I never expected that. If you
Hmm.
asked me this, hey Vash, would you ever thought doing wrestling content years ago? I've always loved wrestling, but I never thought of doing content of it, and now that I am, it just means more special, knowing that I will be having those type of seats or eyes or chance to even talk about it in a conversational type of setting like this, just to know, like, wow, I'm gonna be
Hmm.
able to speak on behalf of John Cena, of his career, or even talk about his last few matches, or him giving that 17th last round to become a champion. Just, it's heartbreaking, but in a beautiful, sweet bow tie. Those were my first
Yeah.
impressions.
Okay, all right, I could see that, and it'll be great when we have those conversations, next year and all that with you, at least with your, relatively new experience with wrestling and all that, and like talking about it with other people and all that. So like, we'll be able to, I think, have some good conversations going on with that. But over to you, Drop, because like you had an interesting tweet, that you let out earlier in the night when John, announced all of this. So again, questions to you. What's just your initial thoughts on this news that we got tonight?
Honestly, it caught me. Like, I had a feeling it was gonna happen one day, but I wasn't really expecting to hear it today, which is why it
Mhm.
caught me off guard, because it's just one of those things where it's like you're watching TV and then all of a sudden you hear somebody say something on TV and you're just mind blown because it just was thrown out of you out of nowhere. That's
Yeah.
basically what this whole segment was, because when I saw him come out, I'm like, okay, cool, Cena's back, because I always loved seeing John Cena. When he was here last time, it was great seeing what he did with LA Knight and stuff that he did in the other PLEs like later last year was great. So when he came up there and he was and then I saw his, it took me a while to actually notice what was said on his shirt because I was just paying attention to him running into the ring. But when he really
Yeah.
said it, like, it took me on an emotional roller coaster, almost bringing me back to my childhood. Because, like I mentioned in my tweet, I've been a fan of John Cena like ever since my childhood. Like, I remember seeing John Cena during the Ruthless Aggression era. I remember seeing those many battles with Randy Orton. I remember seeing the one of the most famous feuds he's had with CM Punk. So there's just a lot of memories and epic matches and just unforgettable moments with John Cena.
Um,
And he's an
Mhm.
inspiration for a lot of people, because if you look at a lot of these wrestlers that are in the company today, a lot of them are inspired by John Cena because he had such a huge impact on the community.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly really excited that he announced it now. So it at least allows people to prepare for what's coming next year. And I'm happy that he actually gave his thoughts during the press conference to be a little more informative and to get more
Mhm.
insight on exactly what was going on. Because when he first came out and said, I thought it was just WrestleMania, but he's actually going to be there throughout that year, which I'm really happy for. And I'm just hoping and praying he gets at 17. Even if he has to relinquish the title the next night, I'm completely okay with that, as long as he's able to do
Yeah.
that. Kind of like, look at Sting from AEW, for example. He had a great last showing. I want John Cena to get the exact same treatment because he truly deserves it. He's an icon. He's a legend.
Yeah.
um,
And like as much as I want him to put over new talent, which he rightfully should and all that, but like you also
yeah,
gotta
and fuck
build
them
him, like
kids.
that too, but like you kind of gotta like build up his repertoire again, like basically build up, or I guess like in RPG terms, I guess you gotta kind of like grind his levels a little bit, because like yeah, he left like when he left full-time WWE, let's say he was like level 50 or whatever, and like everybody else now is like at level, like let's say 65, 70 or whatever. So it's like, okay, John left at 50, but like he's got to catch up a little bit. Like he's got to like yeah, he's still a formidable foe. Like a level 50 Pokemon can still, do something to something at level 65, sure. It's not going to do much, that Charizard's still going to go down, but it's like, yeah, he's gonna have to build up some wins, build up those levels, and just like grind out enough to like be that almost Super Cena esque that he used to be. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does and what he has to do next year. Because again, he's got all next year to do it, and I mean, I believe he'll do it. I believe they're going to tell a very compelling story of his, and I think part of it could tie in with that 17th title win. Especially when we're going into
Well,
WrestleMania season. I mean, the fact part of this has the Royal Rumble in it. I mean
Yeah.
that already in there. Like
Even
he
well,
could.
if I may
It
add,
yeah. Go ahead.
he did say this during the press conference because there's somebody that asked about the 17th belt, and John Cena, he said I will answer all questions, which was hilarious
Hmm.
to just watch. he said himself that right now he don't have a good track record. He doesn't have the opportunity that he hasn't won a match in 1,000 days, I believe it was last time he told us.
Yeah.
So he hasn't won a match in 1,000 days. So he said that he has Royal Rumble, that was a secure spot, Elimination Chamber. He also mentioned WrestleMania. He also mentioned Money in the Bank, and then that's when a person asked, saying that, "How will you be here the whole year?" And then he said he will be here from January to December 2025. That is his goal, and it was 30 to 40 days. So it was amazing to know that he has a goal with WWE and with Netflix. It seems like that he will be staying a lot more on Netflix than rather than SmackDown. I cannot fucking wait for the promo work that he'll be unleashing on an unfiltered wave on a Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
Yeah, because you got to look at the names that are on that show. You got Punk unfiltered, you got Cena unfiltered, you're gonna have Drew unfiltered, Seth unfiltered. It's going to be a wild ride with all of these different kinds of people that's going to be on that show. And Cena is the perfect choice to be on Raw, and obviously to celebrate with Raw being on Netflix. It's perfect.
It's a perfect opportunity to bring more money and more eyes in. Like, a lot of people, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but this got me sad when the lady in the press conference asked, "Are the Jords going to retire?" She asked, George gonna retire? He said, "Yep, George gonna retire. When the hat, the whole thing I'm wearing, everything's gonna retire. Once I'm done, it's done. I'm gonna start wearing a suit and tie. No referee guest appearance, no nothing." And I love how much later our boy CM Punk came out, and he said it in a joking way, or maybe he's serious. He said that, "I'm gonna grab John Cena out of retirement. He could say he's retired. I'm gonna take him out of retirement. A good 10 years from now, he will come back, and I will get him back in the ring." I was like, well, CM Punk is kind of believable for him to actually say that and mean it.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see with that one, because like that just leads into trouble, like. Because that's when you get your Undertakers versus Bill Goldbergs in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
And it's just like, why are you guys out there? Why are you guys doing this? Why are you guys torturing your bodies?
You get those type of botches in that type of way. But to add my last thoughts, that I love what CM Punk said, because there's a question to him during his segment of the press conference that involved John Cena. It said, "How do you feel about about John Cena retirement?" And CM Punk said something that I didn't really grasp until he answered the question, saying that when you talk about John Cena's career, you will usually involve me. And when you talk about my career, you will usually involve John Cena. We are intertwined with each other in their stories. And I didn't first realize that until CM Punk answered that question. That makes sense. Like, knowing that this is a big opportunity for John Cena and everything. Do you guys have a fantasy booking top of your head of who you would love to see John Cena's last opponent be?
Honestly, there's a lot of people you could choose from. I mean, people that
your fantasy booking, like mine right now, top of my head, if you ask me, is Randy Orton.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get into. Like I said, there was a lot of people you could choose from, but if I had to name a few, be Randy Orton, CM Punk, just mainly people that he has a lot of history with, that it would be a pretty good story and a pretty good match. But yeah, Cena and Punk and Randy are the ones that come to mind the most. I'm honestly hoping as well, just for fun, because I don't see Cody turning heel, but I do hope Cody gets a match with Cena, only because that's a dream match he's always wanted. So even if they just do it for a fun match, I'm hoping he.
I would love to see The Rock and John Cena, because I think one of the press people acts like, "Oh, you guys still had history when you guys, lock eyes together." I was like, girl, that's part of the story for that moment. I don't think that's gonna continue something. But I'm like, around 3 would not sound bad for next year.
Once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime. I mean, it would be cool, but I'm not sure.
Times the charm.
Yeah, third time.
3 times the charm.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing like them in the ring having promo segments with one another, but I don't know if I necessarily want to see them in a match again. because I feel
Right.
like something like that shouldn't be overexposed, because that was
No.
kind of like the newer generation back then with John Cena locking eyes with the older generation with The Rock.
Yeah, I see it.
So if we're talking about like final opponents, because I mean, I do agree with like CM Punk and Art and Randy and all that. Like Cena at least locking up with them again in 2025, I could see that happening. But like for final opponents,
Yeah.
I could see at the top of my list, at the top, the tippity
What?
tip top
Gunther?
is Gunther. Gunther. I want Gunther to be John Cena's final opponent.
Damn.
Because Gunther is something that's like, because when you kind of think about it, in a way, he's kind of like the next wave of generation coming in, like taking over WWE, like in a way, because like, and especially just how dominant he is, it'll be another like force for Cena to just contend with, and the fact that he would have spent all year kind of preparing for Gunther at the end, I think they would be able to put on a fantastic final match for Cena to have. Or, you could always do the other option of like maybe somebody basically copying the whole ruthless aggression thing that Cena did with Kurt Angle like 20 some odd years ago. But
hopefully they
like,
redo the match with
yeah.
Austin Theory as well. Like hopefully they get a better match with Austin Theory versus Cena where it could get like a redemption.
I kind of feel
Yeah, I'm
at
good with
it's,
that,
I kind of feel at that time they'll be friends though, because
Yeah.
you could have the whole
Or like a
self-reflect.
tag match too as well.
Not necessarily a match.
Mhm.
I'm mainly talking about like Cena, once he comes across Austin Theory again, he would see Austin in a new light, where Cena called him out by not being that person, and he proved
Mhm.
Cena right around that time. So when he breaks out of that shell, like we're seeing with Grayson, and he builds himself up to be somebody else that turns him
Yeah.
into a whole different person, then Cena can finally see that full circle with his transformation, and he could acknowledge that. Because Cena and him are probably not going to have a match, because more than likely before this year ends, Theory's going to be a heel, and I can
Mhm.
definitely see them being on a same playing field at that time.
Yeah, and like I could see, like you were saying, like that backstage segment of like Cena going up to Austin Theory and being like, you know what, like some sort of moment that they could have where it's like, okay, referencing how even if Theory did beat Cena, it wasn't going to go over well for him anyways, but like you could have Cena being like, you know what, kid, you bounced back. You did great for yourself, and now things are looking up for you because you're succeeding on your own and doing great things. So
Yeah.
it'll be a good way to kind of tie all that in. But yeah, I mean, these are just initial thoughts of Cena's announcement here. We'll talk more about it as we kind of start building everything up and kind of start like this final tour going. And yeah, we'll get all into the emotions when we get through them. But we got a bunch of matches we got to talk about. We got a bunch of storylines to talk about. We got like a bunch of shit to talk about.
So you're talking
from
about
people.
we have an actual event to talk about, not just a press conference.
Oh,
Shit.
oh, do we? Oh, do we? Yeah, we're not gonna be talking about that press conference much now, because hey, we got a bunch of matches again. So we'll just kind of go through the night as it happened, and as we get to certain things, hey, that's when we'll hit them hard, and hit them hard they did, as we started with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. That's right, that started the night off. We had Jey Uso Yeet versus Andrade versus LA Knight, yeah, versus Chad Gable versus Carmelo Hayes versus Drew McIntyre. This was a fun match. Like, I'm glad with the action that we had from it. At least I was happy with it, and I like some of the statistics that Cole threw out. Like, apparently there's an 80% success rate for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now it's
like a 72%, maybe.
something, I don't know, math There's Matt.
I just want to give a
Apparently
quick
this was
side text to the audience and chat to know that I did not say this in the beginning. All time codes and chat for our segments of the matches will be down below after the stream. So in case you want to jump through the conversation, go check them out. I appreciate it very much. Go back to you, Whawkins.
yeah. Apparently this was also Chad Gable's first ladder match ever. So good on you, Chad, for having a great first ladder match.
Yes,
I don't know, guys. Like this had a lot of big spots in it. A lot of great like teases, like LA Knight and Jey Uso's eventual clash happening. Drew being the first person to climb the ladder first. I don't know. Like this just had a lot of great action to it. I don't know what do you guys think? Vash, I know you're kind of you're itching. You're ready to go to talk about this stuff because. Yeah, it was pretty good. You were actually on the notes here. Talking about some stuff.
Yeah, I was being productive watching Wifey, and Wifey was like, "Wait, so you're watching and taking notes at the same time?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, just have keyboard, look up, easy transition, and during commercial break or during a quick spy while they're re-rolling something, boom, easy." Because I thought this match was the easiest one to record notes and pay attention to, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing or not. It's more as that this match was very predictable since with Drew winning. I felt like there was two times that I felt Jey was going to win, or I believe Chad had the chance as well, and that got me like, oh shit, like, are we actually about to get these two people to actually win? I was like, yes, I don't mind Chad or Jade. That's amazing. I love one thing that, going back to the press conference, Triple H, he said that he gives props to Andrade and to other people during this match. I'm happy he gave that because Andrade fucking showed out. He did a beautiful sunset flip. Yes, he did a beautiful sunset flip powerbomb. It was fucking insane. It was my highlight of the match of Money in the Bank of the men's. It was truly something I didn't expect from Andrade, and it was something amazing. I'm glad to see him in the first half of the match. He was just going toe to toe with everyone. Chad Gable was doing some beautiful moves as well. And like you said, Watkins, for his first match of ladders, it was amazing. Like, he did a great job. I didn't expect him to do a good job, but it was something that I was very proud to see. Everyone did their homework. They did what did what they needed to do. I just was, what, we'll talk about Drew at the end. I'd rather save that overall thoughts. I'm just giving. So
we'll save the whole conversation for the cash in when it happens.
Yes.
And that whole conversation for then, because that's basically the conversation of that match.
Yeah, but
Drop.
We'll talk about it.
Drop. So how were you feeling about this match? How'd you feel overall about this men's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Like Vash said, this match was pretty predictable, only because the three of us knew who was gonna win, and like we just went over. We'll give our thoughts on the whole cash in later. But I honestly just like this match mainly because it gave a lot of people opportunities to shine. Like Andrade had a lot of good had a lot of good moments within this match. Same thing with LA Knight. LA Knight had a lot of good moments. Jey had a lot of good moments. Each person had an opportunity to show what they're capable of, which is one of the main reasons why I love Money in the Big matches, because it's not just winning the briefcase that makes a superstar. It's also showing what you're worth leading up to that very moment, like showing how hard you're willing to fight in order to get that briefcase. And all six of these men busted their ass off within this match, just showcasing like what they're willing to do in order to capture that briefcase. And I just loved it between Gable's suplexes, and he did a lot of crazy suplexes in this, and just seeing LA Knight just going batshit crazy with his. I always love the spot where he goes out of the ring and he starts hitting people on the table, the announce table. I always crack up whenever he does it, and he was. It almost looked like he was trying to like bully Carmelo when he was doing that. Like he was just
Mhm.
doing it over and over and over again. Like he just didn't want him to wake up. So like Knight was going
Yeah.
crazy out there. You could see, and I will throw this in here as well. I was kind of surprised I didn't see Logan in this because
Same.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
back of my
I was
head,
gonna. Mhm.
in the back of my head, I thought he was gonna pop up because like I said, we'll save our thoughts on the whole Drew thing later. But if I was going to expect like one person coming in here just to screw things up, I was expecting Logan
So
to do something.
my
Mainly
guess, my guess that it didn't happen is because of booking and scheduling. Because I thought it would have as well. Like we were all agreeing on the same page last night that
Mhm.
Logan may be appearing tonight, but my guess is because of booking and scheduling that's why Logan couldn't make it. Because it
yeah, and
would
that's
have added
fine.
more for the build up for SummerSlam, right, guys? Like it would have built more.
Yeah, yeah, because then you would have Knight coming out on SmackDown, well, this following Friday because it's Sunday now, and then you would have him call out Logan, and then that's when you start fully building to Logan and LA's match at SummerSlam. But
Mhm.
I'm okay that it didn't happen because the match still played out the way I predicted it to, and we still had a lot of good moments within this match itself. So with that not being there, it's not really that big of a deal. But I
But
like the match. It was really good.
I have a question to you guys. Since you brought up about Logan Paul, how do you guys feel about the White Six not being involved to interrupt Chad Gable?
I'm okay with it because if you weren't gonna get Logan being there, didn't really make sense for the Wyatt Six to show up. I, I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, if I were to say anybody were to show up, it would probably be somebody like a Logan Paul because I feel like the Wyatt Six getting involved
It's too
in
early.
doing something not too early. It would be a little too much. Adding all these
Yeah.
effects in the arena, adding all this smoke, having them just like block Gable from like going up to the ladder to get the briefcase. I feel like that's a little too much. Like that's way too overbooked. We don't really need that. You could save that for the Raw shows. Didn't really make sense. I'm glad that it was just there was no interference within this match itself. Each man was able to show what they were capable of, and then we found out who came out on top in the end, which was Drew. So I'm completely fine with the way the match was structured.
Yeah, and like I kind of want to echo your sentiments too about like all the interference because like even last night we were talking about oh Wyatt Six can interfere with this Logan Paul the Bloodline CM Punk all that stuff.
Nothing
I'm
happened.
glad, like in hindsight now, like after the event, I'm kind of glad we didn't get all that because now we got a clean winner for the Money in the Bank briefcase. In Drew McIntyre doing that, and like it would have been a little too overbooked if we were getting like all that interference and all that. But I do agree with you, Drop, where it's like if we were going to get any interference, it probably would have been Logan Paul out of any of those options that we would have had. But again, I'm like just in hindsight, I'm kind of glad we didn't get any here because
So,
this match was just filled with some good spots with it too.
so like you said, like a reference to our boy Zoro from One Piece, nothing happened here.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre won. Well, I mean, we still had some great action and all that. And uh, drop before I carry on, I want to hear from you really quick. What was your highlight moment of this match? Like, Vash had the Sunset Flip power bomb, which was insane. But did you have any other different spot that kind of highlighted from you or anything?
Drop.
What? No, I already.
Ah, he's deep in thought. That's why, because there
No.
were so many spots.
Oh no, I already gave my thoughts on it. I thought we were like moving on to something else.
Oh
Oh
no,
no, not yet.
he asks about if you had a highlight because I would like to add one more than on my when Drew McIntyre he threw that damn ladder when I believe Jay
Oh.
was on top at the very end. When fucking Drew literally just grabbed that damn ladder and just threw it like, "Hoo-choo," and he had to fall down.
Mhm.
Like, damn, he
I mean,
almost
the
had
only
it. He almost fucking had it, and Drew just fucking like skyrocketed a whole damn ladder like, "Hoo-choo, ha-cha."
I mean, the only highlight for me would probably be the sunset flip power bomb. Honestly, that's the one that really stood out to me for the match. The only reason why I was spaced out is because Tiffany posted something on Trish, and I was reading into it when add on to
Oh
the
yeah, they
note
had their
today.
little backstage thing. I see. I guess for me, like as cool as that sunset flip powerbomb was, for me, my highlight was that inverted Spanish fly that freaking Andrade pulled off. Like that
Oh
shit
yeah,
was crazy. Like that, legitimately, it had me scream "Holy shit!" over here. Like, and now that happened a couple times tonight. It happened with Cena coming out, being like, "I'm gonna retire." Like, I yelled "Holy shit!" with that, and then the other one was, well, that'll be in the women's match, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But like that inverted Spanish fly onto the ladder was just so sick, and like the timing for it, the positioning, it was so well done and so put together. Because like that's a spot where it could go very wrong very quickly, no matter what you might do. And I forgot it was Carmelo. I think he put it.
yeah, yeah.
Pulled
With
that move
Mel.
off on. Yeah,
Yep.
so it's like, that already shows also on Carmelo's part how he can also help pull off a move that insane and that batshit crazy. Like, God, it was so good. And of
I,
course, like,
I would like to
I
add.
guess if I had another spot, oh, go ahead.
Oh, the one that you was probably was just about to bring up. It was the belly flop of Chad Gable on top of the ladder. He
Dude,
dropped.
Perk,
He was
Perk
hooking
Gable
that.
showed up tonight.
He was hooking that shit, yo. In my head, I'm like, bro, Chad. If you was on that, if you per cable right now, I would have grabbed that with one hand and unhooked that briefcase and just drop. I'll be like,
Yeah.
boy, I got the case. I don't care if I broke a leg just now. I'm holding that case until next year. I could heal up until next year. It's a wrap.
I mean,
Oh, man, it was.
I was just waiting for Edge to appear out of thin air and just spear him.
Yeah. I was like, okay, wait, is Jay? I thought Jay was gonna like quickly
Same.
climb the ladder and try to do that spot.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
Jay
because
was
was
like,
gonna
we've
oh
do
seen
it.
wait,
it
are you gonna pull
before.
in? Yeah, like, are you gonna pull an edge right now, Jay? All right, bet, do
Which
it. Oh wait, no, Chad just belly flops, which, oh, that just doing that itself onto like, I don't know if you guys have seen like the ring without like the white on top of it, right?
oh yeah,
Like the white mat, like
it's just pure plywood.
yeah, like that. There's not much room to like really pad that without the white, or like the matte part, I guess. So just him just belly flopping like that, like I've jumped into a pool and done a belly flop
Oh,
and
that
that
shit hurts.
stung.
That shit
I
stinks. Like just knowing they
I couldn't
dropped it.
imagine the way he took that.
I believe Michael Cole said that from the ring itself is 25 feet in the air from where the briefcase is. So he literally just belly flopped 25 feet in the air, just down to the ring.
Yeah, but like, man, Perk Gable showed up, and yeah, like I put in here, like that belly to belly suplex he did. That like I think it was on LA Knight because like that's how LA Knight got taken out. Let's say like that belly to belly suplex going
Yeah.
over the top rope onto the ladder below. Like, oh, chef's kiss. The spots were fantastic in this match. Um, but yeah, I mean, Drew won. We were kind of predicting that last night as well with him, winning Money in the Bank briefcase and then doing exactly what he said, cashing in that night. But we'll move on from that,
Wait,
and we'll talk about that match here in a little bit. Go ahead.
before we transition, because I know that we're about to get to our segue, I would love to give credit to the competitors, even though they did not get the briefcase, because a lot of people could be mad
Oh
about
yeah,
what happened with Drew. But just briefcase itself to Drew McIntyre. Drew is on his last legs of the next 5 years or less of him being a professional wrestler. So him having the
hmm
briefcase, that is off his bucket list. He doesn't need that. He's already over by the fans, by the company. He doesn't need the briefcase. If he wants it again, he can have it in the future. Or like he has said at the pre-show of the kickoff by Michael Cole, he has said Drew McIntyre that he's not interested in the briefcase. It's a poison because he has been cashed in now twice within his
hmm
within his career, and now he has failed. That's a different conversation. With Jey Uso, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, all these wrestlers did amazing. I gotta give credit to Carmelo Hayes as well. He did a fantastic job for having experience in ladder matches, but his first in the main roster. Congrats to the superstars. Hopefully, much more success on the main roster showing Raw and SmackDown. I was very proud of them. Still wish that my man Yeet Jey Uso has won the briefcase, but hey, for your first single competitors, Money in the Bank ladder match is amazing. I believe Michael Cole said that his last experience in a in a ladder match was back in 2011, I believe is what Michael Cole said. So it's been more than 10 years that Jey Uso has been in a ladder match. That's insane.
Mm. Yeah. So again, Drew won, and I think what you're saying here, Vash, like the main point here is just like, the biggest thing with the Money in the Bank ladder match, like, yeah, you want to have your star win and elevate them and all that, but like everyone in the match gets elevated to a certain degree, because it's like you're looking at your next crop of main event talent, and whether they win or lose the match, like you're still seeing what your main event's gonna be looking like within the next like couple years. So, oh my gosh, thank you for reminding me, Oblivion. Holy crap. One other thing I just want to just throw out there. We got some Chad Gable peaches in this match. I don't know if y'all saw that, but like he got pulled down from the ladder, and like they pulled it down enough to like you saw some crack on there. It's like, oh, there's some booty happening, and it's not from somebody like Naomi or anything.
I was not
Oh man.
aware of that, but the Chad
Yeah.
just goes wild. Wow, that's something I did not expect.
It was It was some peaches, buddy. But something that's just as sweet as peaches was this Intercontinental Title match. We had Sami Zayn defending his title against Braun Breaker, and this this match kind of surprised me a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, it was kind of what I was expecting from like Sami Zayn against somebody with like the power of Braun Breaker, but I'm surprised Braun didn't really do much more damage to Sami than I thought he would. And that's not saying, the winner of the match, like, I didn't, like, I thought Sami was going to win regardless. But it's like, I just thought Braun would have done more than what he did. I don't know. Am I crazy, Drop? Am I crazy for thinking this? Or, like, did it feel like something was held back a little bit, at least on Braun's end?
I was honestly surprised it just took one haluva kick to take him down.
Mm-hmm. And I
I'll say
think
that.
that's where I'm leading to with it, yeah.
Because knowing somebody his size, I expected him to take at least 2 or 3 of them in order to put him down.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of caught off guard with that. Like, I was expecting him to be more explosive and everything. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad match. It was a fantastic match. But I was expecting him to just, like, completely demolish Sami. Kind of like how Gunther normally does in his matches. He just beats the shit out of you. And at that very moment, like you saw with Sami and Gunther at WrestleMania, he got Sami kicking into high gear, and then that's when he eventually gains control of the match again. That's what I was expecting.
And like even in like a backstage interview, like Sami was still putting Braun over too. Like, oh, I wasn't ready for Braun Breaker. I just wasn't ready. But I mean, apparently you were, because you won the match.
That's another thing to consider as well. Is at least this is a good showing for Braun Breaker, considering that he's in a big match with Sami Zayn. Because Sami Zayn's one of the biggest stars on the Raw roster. So knowing that Braun has a match with somebody like that is very telling, because at least it shows the people that are familiar with Sami Zayn that this Braun Breaker character has a long future ahead of him. Because I forgot who it was online, but I remember seeing it when I was scrolling through Twitter, but somebody says it doesn't really matter that Braun lost. All that matters that was a great showing for him, because you're still going to see this guy as a future WrestleMania main eventer. You're going to see him as a future Royal Rumble winner. You're going to see him as a future world champion. You're going to see him as a future star of the company. You could apply everything I said to Carmelo as well. You're still going to see people like this having huge moments later on in their career. So just because they lose a match like this doesn't mean it's over for them. Because if anything, it gives Bron more motivation to climb higher on the mountain so he can discover new things.
And that's what's great about Braun having an opportunity like this so early on in his main event career, because it's like, okay, he can eat a loss like this right now, because like Sami is, well, first of all, you know, he's known as the ultimate underdog. He's gonna pull out a win no matter what, no matter how many times people are gonna, you know, say, "Oh, you can't win this. Look at the guy you're facing." Blah blah blah, like things like that. And Braun, just he's still green, at least in the main roster sense of it all.
Oh, yeah.
And like him eating this loss is fine, because now he can start learning how to use his brain more rather than his brawn, because now he can start thinking more like, okay, I'm going to take this haluva kick, but I'm going to roll out of the ring. Like, I thought that was going to be what would happen when Sami eventually hit the haluva kick, you know, at least the first one. But, you know, he didn't do that. You know, that just shows, okay, he's still kind of green in the ring. Like, okay, you could have rolled out of the ring, but you didn't. You just couldn't at all. But I don't know. Like, there was a good balance too with all this too, because like with Sami's, you know, mind being able to like counter a lot of what Braun was doing, to Braun being able to just like almost one shot Sami a lot of the times, like doing a lot of damage and everything. Like, it honestly, it kind of reminded me a lot of like this one guy I wrestled in high school, on my team and all that. He was good like technique wise, and I mean, I had my technique too, but like I also had a bit of power too back then. So it's like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that, where it's like, you know, if Braun can harness his mental muscle, then he's going to be a force that's going to be unstoppable. And I think that's where we're going to be building to now. It's going to be more of, okay, Braun's going to start like, yeah, he's still going to be an angry boy and all that, but he's going to learn to kind of harness that anger and use that to his advantage. But, Drop, I want to move it over to you now. What did you think of this match, and especially like how it was structured, and I guess basically overall the finish too with it?
I assume you meant me, right?
Yeah, I said Vash.
God, because I heard Drop, but that must have been me then. My ear must have been bad.
Yeah.
But
You know what? You know why? You know why you might have been thinking of Drop?
Why?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because 42 minutes ago, it turned midnight, and which means it is now July 7th, which means we have a god dang flippin' birthday right here on the left side of my screen. Everybody in the chat, I need you to give me happy birthdays right now. If there are not 10 likes on this video by the time we end it, and it doesn't stay on 10, I am going to kick my pillow out of the door.
Yes, like Whawkins said, it's a big happy birthday to our very own DropThisBox. So we appreciate for anybody to the team. If you're here watching the VOD, comment down happy birthday. We appreciate the well wishes to our friend, a longtime friend and team member, and you know, tweet at him as well if you follow him on the social media. Drop, what do you want to say? Any words before we continue with the show itself?
Oh yeah, so for people that are subscribed to my channel, I'll have a video out tomorrow giving my thoughts, because I didn't really want to put out a whole discussion like I normally do every day. I wanted to give a video just giving my thanks to you guys. I felt like it was only right for my birthday to make a video like that. But I'll also say right here for people that are watching right now, I do want to appreciate all the support that you guys give me all the time. It really does mean a lot, because I honestly look forward to doing what we're doing right now, talking about wrestling and making content on my channel a lot more than I do on the actual job that I'm doing right now. It's just a lot more fun being there with friends, talking about what you love. And I think this is probably something the three of us could agree on, that if this takes off, which we're all hoping it does, we would love to make a career out of this, because it's just very fun to do things like this every single week.
Yes, that's the
But
goal.
yeah.
That's the goal and the ambition for where we can lead up to. So, like Drop said himself, happy birthday to him, and many wishes for the next year. And now we move on to the
and
man.
and also make sure to bring those likes up, like Whawkins said, because you got to show
Yes,
this video a lot of love too.
and don't forget to
Yeah,
watch
and I would.
Drop video for tomorrow about his birthday and his well wishes on his own channel as well.
Yep. And I would like to have a pillow to sleep on tonight. I don't want it to be outside with the bugs, so yeah, be sure to like it. Be sure to like it. But yes,
My thoughts on
oh
this
my
man
gosh, they are
himself
so bad.
of the
They're so
Intercontinental
bad.
title of Sami Zayn retaining over Bron Breakker himself. I was entertained by this match. I agree with one thing that was said by, I believe it was said by Whawkins, said that it was only one hell of a kick. I wish it was like three, because it showed that Bron Breakker is an animal, is a hook. I wish Bron Breakker had the type of attitude like Jacob Fatu got hit by Randy. He got back up like it was nothing. That's what I expected from Bron Breakker. He got hit by a hell of a kick, and he will still get up and like, yo, I'm ready for another one. I eat those for breakfast. I am the animal. I am the wolf dog. I am the beast. So that's what I want to see from the Bron Breakker himself. I want to see the animal that's within him. However, this was more of brute strength versus brain. This was Goliath versus, damn, why am I drawing blank on my education here?
David versus Goliath.
Thank you. On David versus Goliath here.
Yeah.
So this was the
Yeah.
bronze of himself, of Goliath, and David himself of Sami, and I love that. I believe I was telling this to Walkers yesterday. I believe Sami Zayn is Captain America. So much in the fight of Gunther, the fight with Chad Gable. He is the embodiment of Captain America, of saying that I can do this all day. This man, like when he got broken in half by Bron Breakker, this man was collapsed. Like he does the sell of him not able to stand so well. Like it just plays so organically with his body and how he portrays that. So I really love that. And for our boy Sami Zayn, congrats also to your comedy show. I just want to give that a quick nice little type of shout out to Corey Graves. I love his comment that he said, "Never too late to do calisthenics." Like his one-liners are hilarious in this night. It's truly very, it's truly remarkable. Corey Graves by the end of the night was having no voice, but I will say my thoughts about that for our main event. Beautiful, beautiful fucking goddamn DDT by Sami Zayn. It was truly well done. And Whawkins, I'm not sure if you brought it up, but I want to repeat it. That Michael Cole truly favorite word is vintage. He says this for a lot of things, for a lot of wrestlers. If you ever gonna do a drinking contest, definitely just watch a segment with Michael Cole commentating on Randy Orton. He will at least say it 3 to 10 times, at least minimum 3 to 10 times. That's at least 3 to 10 shots of a drinking game. Just hearing the word vintage Orton, that's what you hear many times.
Vintage Sammy. And it was a group chat I'm in too. Somebody I had made that comment too, like, oh man, because I kind of forgot, or like it's one of those things where it's like it's in the back of your mind all the time, but you just don't think about it till you actually think about it. But like one of Michael Cole's favorite words is vintage, and like I said that in my group chat, and they had mentioned that, yeah, well, you know what, Sami Zayn's been in the company for long enough now that like that word kind of makes sense with him, and I sat there and thought, I'm like, oh yeah, he has been in the company for like going on like 8 years now.
What sucks?
Oh no,
that I have not seen him for those amount of years. I've only seen him the past 2 years, so I've only seen him in his, I guess, what you would call it, peak era or his current time. So it sucks that I missed that time, but I know when I have kids, I will show them NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. I'll show them some things that they can be cut up to, or to pass down and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I guess the last little point I just want to I like to make note of it every time it happens and every time we see it because it's just so beautiful when it's done. I love these overhead shots, which were sponsored by our Lord and Savior Homelander. So thank you, Homelander, for providing us with some overhead shots.
Oh yeah, by the boys.
Just don't, yeah, just don't laser my head off, please. I don't want that, please, sir. Please, sir, don't do that.
You also did give credit that Bron Breakker learned his mistake from last week Friday. Last week Monday Night Raw. He almost ran to the steel stairs or steps once more, but he stopped himself right before he had the collision.
Yeah, so good on you with that one, Braun. See, that's what I'm saying. Like he learned from that experience. So now that he's had a match with a master of the ring, he can learn from that. He can learn from the mistakes he made in that match. He can learn how he can be better, and he can learn how to be the true beast that he can be. So yeah, with that out of the way, again, Sami won. Where does Sami go from here? Where does Braun go from here? Hey, I guess we'll have to wait until Monday night to talk about that. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all you ignorant children of the aisles, we got some shit to talk about. We got to go into the trenches now. We got to dive in. We got some words to say. I know I do. I'm sure. I'm sure that Vash does, and I know that Drop does.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this World Heavyweight title picture. Let's talk about this match of Damian Priest defending against Seth Rollins. First of all, this backstage little interaction from Finn. The boys are... Oh, we thought the boys were going to be costing Damian Priest, but you know what? No. They stayed backstage. They stayed out of the way. Cool, awesome,
even though Finn, the cameraman, zoom in when Damian Priest walks away, cameraman zooms in, and Finn was like, "You got it, boss, sure," and just slowly smile and just smirks. While literally we have Carlitos, we have JD, and we have Dominic. Literally should look at Finn like, yo, bro, what you talking about? Literally just, I felt like I was watching like an anime type of villain type of episode, like a scene that has to appear because it has to promote the episode or like throw the seeds. And this was put in because to set up the seeds for the next couple of weeks. Like that's what the point is, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, and I honestly think it's leading to what we'll see at SummerSlam. Because I thought they were going to have some part in this match. They didn't. But I think that's probably gonna be one of the reasons why Priest loses his title against Gunther. But we could talk about that throughout July.
Yeah, because I'm sure there'll be more seeds being planted with all that, and I mean, because that's the thing. It's like Finn and the rest of the Judgment Day do have like a case against Priest, because it's like, okay, Priest is gonna try to keep people back. He's gonna keep trying to keep the Judgment Day back, but it's like, even if they don't get involved, other factors are getting involved in Priest's match that end up helping him in the long run. Like, I mean, CM Punk is the biggest example of all this. I mean, if it wasn't for CM Punk, Damian wouldn't have even won the title in the first place, and he probably wouldn't have retained it here anyways, regardless. So it's like, Damian's is still getting help in these matches and all that. But like, it's not really from Judgment Day. So it's like, okay, you're gonna still keep us in the back here. All right, fine, whatever. You want to be some, honest to goodness knight in shining armor or whatever. But it's like, you're also the World Heavyweight Champion, and you also know that somebody who said that as soon as they get the briefcase, they're gonna cash in. I don't know. It's like, there's one of those leaps of logic where it's just like, you know what, I get what you're trying to do, Damian. I get it. I understand that. But why not at least have Judgment Day be around the ring to make sure that Drew McIntyre doesn't interfere? Like, you could have even talked to them and be like, look, the game plan is to make sure Drew doesn't interfere. Make sure he doesn't cash in. I can take care of Seth. You guys take care of Drew coming in. Like, I don't know. Is that like...
No.
Yeah.
I get it, because for anybody that does not have a good memory, let me turn you back about 5 months ago, when Damian Priest wants to cash in on Seth Rollins in the earlier this year when he had his knee injury back in January, or I think February was. Who stopped him? It was Drew McIntyre. He literally put hand out, said, "Nah, you can't go over there." He held the briefcase and everything. So why can Drew McIntyre stop the Money in the Bank guy to come down and cash it in, but you cannot have your own crew? The deal was that your posse cannot help you win the match. But there was no such deal to tell your posse, your clubhouse, your members, your fucking Judgment Day division, your team that's supposed to watch your back or supposed to watch each other's back. You didn't even ask them to be outside of the ring, like, hey, keep looking at this hallway, keep looking at this runway, make sure that nobody comes down with a green case. I will smack them down. Don't let it pass through. Don't let him reach the referee. It cannot go through.
And I get your point here, Vash's fan. Like, yeah, he said that, he didn't need the help, and yeah, it is to prove a point and all that, but it's like, you could have still done something to protect yourself just a little bit, because it's like, okay, he's not asking for their help with the match itself. He's just making sure, hey, Drew doesn't try to pull this bullshit on me, but
unless this leads into Monday, where where Priest potentially confronts them and says, but I don't think he is, because you won the match, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But let's say hypothetically he comes up to them and he's like, "Where were you guys? McIntyre's out there trying to cash in," and then Finn's like, "He said you didn't need us." That's the only time I can really see that being brought up.
And I hope it does, because it will prove a point, and it will add more seeds to Finn asking for communication from the leader, where Damian as the leader is not giving no type of commands or any type of leadership, like authority. And how can they tell us or expect us to go protect you, but you are telling us to not be there or get your back? We're not involving ourselves, but you told us not to be out there, so that gives it the extra layer to defend. So I agree.
And like the other thing too, the other part of that too is, like, even though he didn't ask help from CM Punk, he still had help from CM Punk. Like, Drew would have had the match won. Do what? Sorry.
Oh, he was looking at him quite a bit after that match too.
Yeah, like, and like that's the whole thing. It's just like, your point still isn't proven here, Damian. It's like, you still had help.
What sucks? What sucks? I want to give this credit to our boy Triple H, because a question was asked to Triple H that how do you feel, or how do you what's your feedback towards Triple H? With the referee telling that Damian, his hand was up, and the referee, stopped it, like, hey, don't pin it, nothing. Seth Rollins was like, my guy, like, he had to play the part. And then we had Drew McIntyre song come out. It was maybe a miscommunication, but I love Triple H answer. The reason I'm bringing this up, because I want to tell the audience, in case that nobody saw the press conference, this needs to be said, because it sucks that in one person mistake, it could be the timing of the referee, it could be the timing of Damian, Seth, or with Drew himself. There is many cooks in this kitchen being fried right now. So nothing being out on time is no one's fault. Maybe for Damian, he took a second too long. He was in pain. He could have moved his shoulder up, because I don't want people to miscredit him. He put out a great match. Overall, he got help from CM Punk, and he fell asleep for that 1-2 second, sure. But at the end of the day, I want to give credit to what Triple H said. He still put on a great match, and that was the beautiful response as a leader, as the CEO of the company, or the chief of content director and everything. He had a great response, because I supported with Damian match here. He's been doing better and better since last year, and as a champion himself, I'm starting to see more of what Seth means. That he needs to leave the Judgment Day for Damian to elevate himself more as a superstar, as a main eventer. But two, please change your fucking song. Because throughout the whole time that with CM Punk doing what he did, the match ended, your fucking song was continue being played, and all I heard was "All Rise, All Rise, All Rise," and I'm like, I'm getting tired.
All rise for the Outlaws.
All rise.
And I was getting tired of that. But other than that, I just want to give credit to Damian. He did an amazing job as a wrestler. He put a great match, and it sucks that a lot of people are gonna throw shade towards that 1, 2, 3 second clip, and for him being helpful to CM Punk. But overall, he did a great job as a single competitor with no help other than CM Punk doing what he got to do because of Drew.
Yeah, and like part of it too is like when you kind of look at how Damian took that superplex Falcon Arrow combo that Seth does, he kind of landed a little funny on his head. So I don't know if he got like slightly concussed or not, or if like
Exactly.
something happened there. So like that could also have been a factor as well with it. But like I'm wondering too if they're gonna tie this in storyline wise, because like the reason I sit here like kind of questioning, you know, Damian going over in the end is like, where does this leave Seth for SummerSlam? Because like now he's almost in a spot where he was at with like WrestleMania 38, where he didn't have an opponent for the night, and it's just like, okay, well, what do you do? Like, do you just call somebody out? Do you have some sort of other match? There were some people kind of throwing out like, oh, he could have a triple threat with Drew and Punk, but it's just like, you're gonna throw in Rollins in the middle of all this. Like, keep him and Punk away, because like right now, what happened tonight planted seeds for their inevitable clash at Mania coming up. Like, which I think is going.
Yeah.
That was beautifully planted, like without talking the discussion of the cash in without the cash in itself, just planting the seeds of Seth, even screaming to fucking CM Punk like, you fucking and just showing the body language and everything. And Corey Graves had to take off his headphones behind him and like, yo, calm down, my dude, we're in front of 19,000 people right now, calm down, this is not the time, this is not the spot. And when CM Punk is just smiling like, I'm just here having a good time.
Yeah.
I did what I did. What you mean? And I love how Michael Cole said it. Yo, Phil, what you doing here? And I love what Phil said.
My job.
My job. What you mean? I literally got paid, flown out here to mess these fucking jobs up. I was told to mess these people motherfucking jobs so they can continue working by feuding with me, the best in the fucking world. That's what I felt from Phil.
Like, and I can see like why people are thinking of a triple threat, but the story really doesn't make sense right now, because we've been having this ongoing story with Drew and Seth ever since January. So it doesn't make sense having like 7 months of build up leading to their match at SummerSlam being like a triple threat down the line. I mean, I can understand why Seth's mad, because one of the stipulations was as long as Drew's champion, he never gets a shot. I definitely understand why he was reacting the way he did, because, I mean, I would be mad at Punk too if he costed me a title opportunity. If Priest was champion, I never had the opportunity to challenge for it again. I can't be in a number 1 contenders match. I can't go up and ask for a match. Like, I got to wait until the dude drops the title for someone else until I get another title opportunity. So I can understand that. But I feel like this right here just builds a new road for Seth. So now people can tune in and see, like, okay, what sort of direction is Seth going to go down? Is he going to go down a direction with Punk, or is something else going to come up entirely? That's what I'm into. I mean, damn, for all you know, I'm just throwing this out here. I don't think it's going to happen. But it's like, imagine, you know, he butts heads with Braun Breaker. Like, just throwing something like that out there.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
That you brought that up, Drop, because I'm like, didn't wrong person. Didn't Seth Rollins give Braun Breaker a chance for the world title back last year during NXT, some type of PLE event or some type of event they had
Yeah, he did.
during the month. So they could run it back just for a match, and Bron Breakker just started off, be like, yo, Seth, that's you, right? I'm going to spear you just out of nowhere backstage. She'll be like, yo,
Right.
I'm going to fuck people up. I don't give a fuck. And then Pierce, you just got knocked in the head by Drew McIntyre by the, press conference or, post show. Oh, my God, that was insane.
Yeah.
Are we
But,
going to
like,
talk about that
so-
after? Because that's also involving Drew McIntyre as well. So,
We'll get
Okay,
we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But like, yeah.
Gotta let it build up. We gotta let it build up. just
Yeah.
like a
Oh yeah.
cat.
No, we're building it up. Look, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys
Exactly,
and girls,
chat.
and
I
everyone
don't know what
else.
it is. We
like,
are doing the build up for you.
Yeah, we're taking the Triple H method of letting things cook for a bit. But like really quick with like the Seth thing, because like the only other triple threat I could see happening is him inserting himself with this Gunther Damian Priest thing at SummerSlam, because of that referee stoppage kind of thing with the 2 count. Seth does now have a case to go for. It's just like, I like
True.
it'd be one thing if Priest did actually beat him, but it's like, hold on, I had you beat, and the referee just stopped counting, and like I also saw some stuff online too saying that, they could tie this in being like, Finn paid off the referee to make sure that he didn't fully count of three for a pin. So like you could tie this into a story and all that, and
Yeah.
like this is a good way for Seth to be like, yes, I agreed to this. However, it was bullshit that it happened. Plus, another technicality too. Technically, the match did turn into a 3-way. So it's like, there's a loophole maybe in this little contract here now. Because hey, now this is a different match.
And I love how for Paul, aka Triple H, he has learned how to, he's been learning how to pivot over the past couple of months lately, so he could pivot a bit more in this type of next couple of weeks. So for anybody that have started to watch the documentary, I started the first 20 minutes, and I really want to analyze the fucking 1 hour of documentary. That thing is such an analyzation, hyperdrive in my head of how to break down each segment of conversation. But I want to give another credits due. Rollins begging Damian to get up and tell him to stand on his own 2 feet. I love that scene. I love Rollins telling him, like, Damian, get up. I need you to stand on your own 2 feet. Need you to be your own person. Who are you? Who are you going to be as Damian Priest? And I love that, because a big shout out. We're also getting a documentary of Damian Priest. I never expected that, so that's congrats to him as well for that.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, he's getting one of those 24-hour ones, so it's all leading up to like his cash in and all that. And I saw a couple clips going around on Twitter, like everybody congratulating him backstage. Yeah, but you know what? I think we've ruminated enough, because that's the thing. This match is fine and all that, but like the whole story of the match is basically both Drew and Damian Priest basically being like, okay, they're so paranoid about Drew, or excuse me, I said Drew earlier, Seth and Priest. They're both paranoid that Drew's going to be cashing in during the match and all that. So like they're hitting big move. Yeah, they're doing like big move after big move after big move after big move, trying to end the match quick. And after that weird referee 2 count thing, hey, that's when Drew McIntyre shows up. And here we have the biggest talking point of the whole night on social media, with a lot of group chats, like a lot of group chats I was in too, like borderline arguing about this, like till the cows come home. This whole cash-in, quote unquote, debacle. I know we each have our own thoughts about it. So, Drop, I want to start with you. What, like, because the biggest criticism right now with all this is that the Money in the Bank briefcase was wasted. And it's I get it. Like I want to start off this top part of the topic here with like I get the criticism. I get that. And especially, going through the whole Vince era with some of those cash-ins, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
It could feel a little bit that, you may have gotten cheated. Maybe somebody else could have had that. I get it. However, you got to think a little more bigger picture here. Like, this isn't just like we're booking weekly and all that. It's not like we're booking just for the night or anything. Like, there's a grander story being told. And honestly, the Money in the Bank briefcase would have been wasted regardless. Mm-hmm. But I'll get more into that here in a little bit, I guess. But Drop, I want to start with you, at least with your thoughts. Just I guess mainly just on this statement of like the Money in the the Money in the Bank briefcase. See what you guys got me doing. I can't even speak right now. Like, yeah. The Money in the Bank briefcase being wasted. What are your thoughts just like on that statement and with everything tonight?
So I'm just gonna say it like this. If you look at how everything is structured in the main event scene right now, especially what we're going to be seeing in SummerSlam in the next month, Gunther is winning the title from Damian Priest. That's no question. That's not up for debate. Gunther is going to win that match, and he's going to hold that title for a very long time. Because he's the kind of person to, like he did with the IC title, make it feel like a legitimate reign. And he's somebody... And the whole what was the whole purpose of that title being created? It was meant to have longevity to it. It was meant to be taken seriously. And Gunther's the perfect person to do that. So the reason why I say that is because our current world champions are going to be Cody and Gunther. And Cody is on an ongoing storyline right now. He is not going to be dropping that title, at the very least, until WrestleMania next year. So regardless who won this men's briefcase, they were not going to have a successful cash-in. So in a way, WWE kind of set themselves up with this because you weren't going to have a winner. It would have been a failed cash-in regardless. That's why they did what they did tonight, because they needed to advance the storyline with Punk. And if you've been following through what's been happening within these months, Drew screwing over Punk, Punk screwing over Drew, Drew screwing over Punk, Punk screwing over Drew. And a lot of people are on the same page tonight that Punk was going to do that, and that's exactly what he did. So I rather them actually utilize the briefcase in a way where it's like somebody's not walking around with it like it's a prop, and actually use it in a way to advance a storyline rather than just not do anything with it at all. And I've seen a lot of, and I understand the criticism as well. Like you said, the Money in the Bank briefcase is meant to create new stars. Yes, it is. And I am very high on that. So I am definitely in the same playing field when it comes to a statement like that. But at the same time, if you pay attention to the product, it does not really make sense for it to be a successful cash-in. Like, what are you expecting? Oh, okay, Carmelo's going to win the case. He's going to cash in on Gunther. He's going to win the world title. You really thinking stuff like that's going to happen? Oh, you're going to see... I'm going to look at the competitors right now. You're going to see Chad Gable get the briefcase. He's going to cash in on Cody Rhodes. Like, you're really going to see stuff like that? You have to pay attention to how the product is being presented to us. It does not make sense in any way for this to be a successful cash-in with the 2024 men's Money in the Bank winner. That's why it was that's why it was presented to us the way it was, because it really wouldn't make sense either way. And you guys are fickle, and I'm going to say it because you are, so I'm really glad Daniel Bryan brought that up many years ago, because a lot of you guys are very fickle in what you say. Because let's say things didn't happen the way it did tonight, and then let's say McIntyre held on to that briefcase for a little bit. And let's say that he didn't cash in on a Priest. He didn't cash in on a Gunther. He didn't cash in on a Cody or whoever is the world champion. Let's say he cashes in on a mid-card title. You guys are going to complain because you're going to be like, oh, that should be meant for world titles. But at the same time, Cody Rhodes has ongoing storylines. He has a future match with The Rock more than likely happening down the road. Gunther is going to be starting a legendary reign to bring that championship up to new levels we haven't seen before. He's going to be having matches with the likes of Seth Rollins and Ilya Dragunov, a match that a lot of people are sinking their teeth into to see. You guys would complain if he had a mid-card, if he went after a mid-card title. So regardless what happens, you guys won't be satisfied. Because either way, it does not make sense of any sort of direction. That's why I said before, they backed himself into a wall where at this point, because of how they laid things out, this was the only direction they really could have done with it. At least with the women's Money in the Bank, and we'll give our thoughts on that later, at least you can actually have that star-making moment with Tiffany Stratton later on. And like I said, we'll give our thoughts later on with that, but at least you have that to sink your teeth into.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of these claims online. They don't make sense. Like, I can't think of, like, one legitimate reason why this would be a successful cash-in. Oh, well, you never know. Cody might actually get cashed in, or if Gunther has the title, he might actually get cashed in and might actually have a new champion. Don't lie to yourself. That was never going to happen.
Yeah. That's like Gunther if he had lost the IC title like maybe 3 months into his IC title reign to somebody like Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
You know, nothing against Dolph Ziggler, but it's just like, you know, when you look at the pecking order at the time of, you know, the roster, it's just like, oh, wait, why is Dolph Ziggler just rolling up Gunther and winning? You know, that it kind of cheapens the, you know, the status of mainly the person that held the belt too. You know, like it's one thing for Seth to, you know, lose and then get cashed in on, you know, whatever that happened at WrestleMania. He at least had a fighting chance with all that, you know. Yeah. But like it's just so different when you have it be cashed in on somebody like Gunther and like Cody. And I mean, this is also too, like, I mean, I just want to throw this out too, like, it is the assumption that, you know, Gunther is walking out of SummerSlam World Heavyweight Champion, but I mean, just the way Gunther's booked and all that, like, it's hard to bet against him walking out with that title, you know. But before I continue on, I do want to hear from you, Vash. Like, how did you feel about this cash-in failure with Drew McIntyre? Because I know, like, you had some thoughts too about it as well.
So I'm in the middle. I don't agree with people online. Like, I understand their resentment. I understand their frustration towards this opportunity that the cash in fail. Does it suck that the cash in of Money in the Bank got used for a storyline to push between Drew and CM Punk, but it was the same concept if you think about it. When people was mad that the Bloodline storyline could have meshed in with King of the Ring, but people weren't too upset about that. Now the Drew and CM Punk storyline got meshed in with the Money in the Bank. Same concept. So I totally understand why people are frustrated. Are they rightfully so? Hell yeah. Should they be? Hell no. Because when it comes to Drew McIntyre, alright, look, Drew McIntyre, he won it. He was gonna fail at it no matter what. It was gonna be fickle like a motherfucker. You know why? Because he is obsessed with the CM Punk and with his title. Right now, instead of waiting for the right opportunity, he said, you know what, let me use this opportunity and cash in now. And guess what he did? He failed. He was too impatient. With Carmelo, with LA Knight, with Jey Uso, with these others, I'm in the minority saying that I would rather have it be them, any of those 5 others, and they fail. To me, you don't have to have a successful cash in to still elevate a superstar. You still could have a failed cash in and have the match or have the story of that be successful. Even if it was Andrade, I would have, like, my dark horse, if he was him or Carmelo, if they got the Money in the Bank and they could have had this opportunity to, like, oh, we have the little possibility of trying to go against Cody. Because now it seems like whenever whoever wins the Money in the Bank is only for their main roster show. So if any of these wrestlers that were on Raw that won the Money in the Bank could only be used on Raw. The same thing for SmackDown, which that is very different on the rules, or because I thought it was any of the belts on the main roster or with within the company, but it seems like wherever show you're on, it can only be used on that, which makes sense.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But am I okay with Drew McIntyre losing like a little bitch because he was obsessed because of this belt and him having a tantrum? Look, my guy, you gotta let shit go. You know what? Just have a choose to CM Punk. Be like, yo, it is what it is. You do you, you do me. Just get the fuck out of my side. Just get the fuck out of my corner. It
Mhm.
is what it
Well,
is.
we've gone a little past Drew just dropping it now.
Oh,
Like
definitely for sure.
we've gone a little
yeah.
past that now.
Yeah,
Like
he's pretty much putting himself into a situation where it's gonna create a lot of problems on Monday because he elbowed
Yeah.
Adam Pierce in the
Oh,
head,
yeah.
and that's one thing you don't do and
Mhm.
get away with. So that's definitely gonna create a lot of tension
And
moving forward. Like I can only imagine we're gonna get another LA and AJ segment, but with Punk and Drew
Mhm.
breaking in the
And
house.
I also got to
so
give credit to
yeah.
Adam Pierce because his sell on the elbow hit was very well. Because
Oh yeah,
usually when you get hit by an elbow, you move slightly. You don't get hit and then hit to the rail. Like you literally, like my boy Adam Pierce went like 10 feet
Mhm.
across. I'm like, nice sell, Adam Pierce, great sell. It's
oh yeah.
like if I got hit on the elbow, I'll be like, I will still be in
Mm.
the same spot. Just my head would be like this. But Adam Pierce
Yeah.
went like 10 feet
Yeah.
across. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
sure. But
That's a prop to being a wrestler.
again, I
Yeah.
wish it was to another wrestler. My honest opinion, like fuck what people think online. Drew McIntyre failed cash in and should not be used for story. Guess what? You elevated the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk story. You elevated the story of the Judgment Day with Damian Priest that he couldn't do alone still without an extra help because of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre being involved. Seth not having
Mhm.
a story after this, and that elevates his story to now have an extra
Yep.
layer of hatred towards CM Punk. And now it's like, okay, what do I do for the next 4 weeks? Because my boy Damian Priest is about to lose, like again, what other people think against Gunther. Because I have thoughts about Gunther. I might be the minority here against my team here because I will hope
That's fair.
I hope Gunther loses. Not saying that I'm not a fan of Gunther, but not saying like I'm a superstar fan of Gunther. Like I'm a fan. Do I care 100% of his type of booking? No. I like what he does so far and everything. I don't think he is ready for face and everything. That's me. Even my wife, she's like, damn, I don't want Gunther to win. She hasn't been sold yet by Gunther and his character or his matches or whatever what it is. So
No.
it's really curious to see what is the build up gonna be if Gunther wins. Like most of us here on the team, we think he will win when the match happens because he
Okay.
has been booking very well and he is the king of the ring. But
Yeah.
I'd rather have seen my boy Jay Uso or my dark horse Carmelo or Andrade have won.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So before I go on a tirade about how Gunther isn't prepared for, world title picture and all of that, I'm just gonna prepare myself really quick because hold on a second, people. All right. Let's get real here. Let's have a fucking real talk here. Okay.
Yes.
So one word that's been tossed around a lot tonight about all of this is elevation. We're looking to, elevate stars to the next level and all that. And it's just like, okay, yes, you have that. That's basically what the Money in the Bank ladder match is specifically for. That's why I made my comment earlier about, you're basically showcasing what your main event could be looking like in the next few years. And I say could because, some people just don't make it to that level. But this is like that next spot. This is that next stage for the men that are involved in that. You know, you had main event Jey Uso, been in the main event, gone for world titles, failed multiple times, whatever, cool. Same thing with LA Knight, you know, multiple things and all that. Andrade just getting back and all that, trying to make a name for himself, trying to reestablish himself in WWE, which, you know, on top of being the speed champion and all that, you know, on Twitter and all that, he showed out like we talked about earlier. He showed out during this match. Like he was probably the breakout star of the match, if I'm being honest with all that. Carmelo Hayes, he played his role very well. He was still the newcomer. He still had like a lot of great spots in it, but hey, he's still green on the main roster. His time is going to be coming. Who am I missing from that? I mentioned
LA Knight.
Oh, Chad Gable. Chad Gable also stood out a lot tonight, you know, and it's elevating, you know, him a little bit and pushing his story a little bit. But like that's the whole thing. The match itself elevated each one of those guys. It gave them a reason each to be part of the main event and to be part of like that main title picture and to just again showcase what they're all about and to like show the people who they are. I mean, freaking Chad Gable is on, you know, he turned into Perk Gable. He's freaking he deadlifted Drew McIntyre and tossed him over his goddamn head. Like, that is some crazy strength right there. But I digress. The whole idea of elevation. Now we go into this whole Drew McIntyre thing of him holding the briefcase and involving the whole CM Punk thing. And like a lot of people, you know, part of this build for this rivalry is like, oh, it doesn't need the title. It'd be cool if it had the title, but it doesn't need it and all that, blah, blah, blah. But like part of it too has been focused around the title and mainly Drew's obsession with the title and his obsession with CM Punk and how it just continues to just ruin his life, his obsessions about things, and it keeps biting him in the ass. And it's just like what I was talking about last night. It's like the perfect time for Punk to always strike is right when Drew thinks he's won. Right when he thinks he's got everything good. Right when he thinks that all is right with the world. CM Punk comes in like reality from that episode of South Park and just fucks everything up for him. He takes the rug, like the proverbial rug, right underneath Drew and just like costs him all that. Why? Because hey, Drew was kind of a dick. He was kind of an asshole the whole time that Punk is trying to recover and everything. Like Punk didn't do anything to Drew, and yet Drew just wants to keep like egging him on and all that. And like, and especially like after, you know, decimating CM Punk in Chicago, like of course CM Punk's gonna come back and be like, no, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna ruin your life now. And he did. You know, and to get back to the point with like the whole elevation thing, the Money in the Bank briefcase being used in this aspect elevated this feud from like, oh, this is a really good, like almost main event feud. This elevated it into a legendary feud. The Money in the briefcase. The Money in the Bank briefcase. See, I can't freaking call it the right name. The Money in the Bank briefcase did its job. It elevated superstars to another level. And without that briefcase, we would not have gotten the heat that now Punk and Drew have for each other. Like, it has gone from, like, they hate each other, they despise each other, to, like, now both of them want each other dead. Like dead to rights, to the point where Drew McIntyre is going on like if you guys want to know part of the reason that like we were so late starting this night is like I can probably speak for you too a little bit with this drop, and I know I can partially speak for Vash too. Like we were all kind of hooked on like this post show. Because it's like, Drew comes out there, talks to the panelists, like, not even talks to the panelists, he's out there screaming and yelling about how he's gonna murder Punk and all that, and like, elbowing, you know, officials and all that, and like, having to be broken up by Wade Barrett of all people, like, you wouldn't have had that moment. We wouldn't have the moment that we're probably going to be getting on Monday with whatever's going to happen there. We're not going to get when Punk is just like, hey, like, and he'll probably call Drew a bitch as well. He'll probably be like, "Hey, bitch, I'm cleared. I'll see you at SummerSlam," and we won't get like this heated like all like blood feud at SummerSlam. And I know there's not going to be like a stipulation with it. I mean, I'm assuming not, especially with like Punk's first match back from being injured and like his first official like televised match that's not a Royal Rumble. Like it probably should be a normal match. It should, it really should. But like the feud itself was elevated, and isn't that what the Money in the Bank briefcase is for? Mm-hmm. Isn't it for elevation, to elevate stars to a new level, to a higher level, to go even further beyond? Like, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes I feel like I talk crazy. Sometimes I feel like I just spout like crazy nonsense. But it's just like, God, freaking dang it, people! Like, and I get it. I get it. Everybody has their opinions. Everybody has their thoughts, and you're welcome to them. I get that. I understand that, and I get that. Reactions happen. We're a reactionary group of people, especially being wrestling fans. Like, it is filled with reactionary people and all that. So I get that, but it's just like when you just step back a little bit and you kind of look at the grander scheme of things. This was exactly what the Money in the Bank briefcase needed. Because here's the other thing, too. We literally, just like, 3 months ago, had the briefcase be cashed in on, be used. Like, literally just 3 months. And you're going to sit there and tell me that you're going to sit there with another guy holding the briefcase for a few months? Like, it's one thing for Tiffany to have it, because she even said at the post-show stuff, like, I'm going to, decorate it. I'm going to dye it in pink. I'm going to bedazzle it. Whatever the fuck she does with it. Like, she's at least going to do something with it. And she's at least going to be, like, a little bit more than what Priest was with it. And definitely a little bit more than what Io was with it. Like, Tiffany's going to make something of being Miss Money in the Bank, no matter how long she holds on to it. And there's your new star right there to be elevated through the Money in the Bank. Like, your new star part of it all. But, like, I don't know. Again, like, I might just be going on a tangent now. I don't care. It's just like I do see the vision. I see it. It's just let's just all take a step back. Let's just all breathe. Everything's fine. Nothing was like ruined tonight, because that's the thing. We still had really great matches, and especially like, again, like I said, the Money in the Bank ladder matches had elevated a lot of those guys and those girls, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Like, those matches elevated those people, and this is going to be your main event scene going forward here in the next few years. Like, you're going to be seeing like Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade in the main event for a world title. I almost want to say I can guarantee that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm gonna stop ranting now. I don't know. Drop. Was I talking nonsense? Like, I gotta put my paraphernalia back on and read some of this chat, because like,
yeah,
God damn.
I mean, it's like it's like I said earlier, and I'm happy that Donald Man brought it up when I said that this was going to be a legendary stream. It definitely turned into one of the most legendary streams we've had so far, with the existence of Weebs of the Ring, just based on this segment alone of us giving our thoughts on the entire situation going on of Punk and McIntyre. Because I agree with everything that you said in your little tangent, because like the whole purpose of the briefcase was, like you mentioned, with the whole point being about elevation. It literally did that with Drew and CM Punk. It brought it to another level that we've never seen it before. And you're still going to get your star in the making of Tiffany Stratton. So it's kind of like you got the best of both worlds right there. Why complain? But this is honestly the best thing they could have possibly done, because any other thing they would have done, people would have people already are complaining, but at least logically, this is the most sense they could have put into the situation.
Yeah, because like the only other option is what they tried to do with Austin Theory 2 years ago, and go for a mid-card title, which really, because like, again, I think Drop, you were saying that earlier. It's just like, fans would have complained about that again, because we as wrestling fans, even me, I'll admit it, I can be fickle at times as a wrestling fan. I can be like that with any media I consume. Like we can all be a certain level of fickle, but it's like just learn to take a step back and just kind of look at like a bigger picture, because like, and I said this in a group chat earlier too. It's like done are the days where we're getting fed TV dinners. We're now sitting out there by like the grill or the smoker or whatever. We're taking our time with this meat. We're letting let's just use a smoker for example, for the best example. Like we're sitting there. We started off at like probably early in the morning just to kind of get all those meats tenderized and marinated. Okay, I'm now making myself even more hungry about it. But so it's like,
are we about to cook up a girl? Cause I'm hungry. Shit.
I mean, true. Soon, maybe one day if we tailgate. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day. Weebs of the Ring tailgate coming to you in 2026. Maybe.
Oh, there you go.
We'll see. But it's like. We're in the cooking phase. Like Triple H is somebody who likes to cook you a good meal. He likes to wine and dine you, not take it to McDonald's and be like, "All right, bitch, bend over." Like, no, we're done with that. We're done with that regime. We're here. We're getting the finest of wines. We're getting like our $50 steaks or whatever. And that's probably on the cheap end of good steaks.
I would like to add a quick side tangent towards that comment about Triple H and his booking and everything else that's going on, because people need to understand SmackDown has been becoming, whenever there's a PLE on a Saturday, SmackDown is like the PLE 2.0 or 2.5 or like 0.5, and the PLE the next day is the full PLE. So it's 0.5 is like leading up to you, because last night we had a tag team new reign. We had DIY taking down A-Town Down Under. They are knocked down, they're out. So we have DIY, and that has feel elevated. It felt important, and it felt Canada still part of the Money in the Bank, because we have a full event this weekend. We have SmackDown, we have Money in the Bank, and then we have Heat Wave, and then Monday Night Raw. So I want to give props to Triple H. Even though we have 5 matches, they're still entertaining. It started at 7. We was done by 10:30, and we still had the press conference that was done by 11:20. So overall, it still hit. It was still entertaining, and it still got the job done.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I don't know. That's basically it. I think we got all of our grievances out of there. I don't know if we didn't.
I have something to say later too.
Look, at the end of the day, if we're still on the Drew McIntyre briefcase thing, right? Or we move on. I was trying to make sure.
Oh no, we're done now.
All right, cool. No,
because, I went on my little tangent.
I missed the tangent. I will listen back to later, but fuck people online that thinks they know what they're booking. That's straight up. No facts, no filter. That people need to understand that whatever you think is booking, just because it's predictable, don't mean that it's bad booking. Good booking is still leading up to something more. Like we said earlier, this briefcase led up to 5 different fucking stories intertwining with one another, and you could pivot wherever one leads up to more, where the fans want to see more, and where the producers, writers want to see where it all leads up to. But at the end of the day, fans will be upset about anything. The briefcase has always meant something. But like the briefcase, if it was a factor from now until next year, a man's briefcase will be hard to add to the story. A lot of people did not want to see another one that's a failure. But Drew McIntyre told the audience, said that if I win this briefcase, I'm cashing it in that same night. Why are you mad when this man literally told you what he was doing? He literally told you, if you want to see my homework, here it is. This is what I'm doing. Here are my answers. Don't be upset that he gave you the answers and you're upset that what it came true, the prophecy came alive.
That's it. And like, I guess to kind of sum it up too, it's just like, if you go to a restaurant and you're like, oh, a bacon cheeseburger. I know what a bacon cheeseburger tastes like. I don't think I'd want that, but nothing else on the menu looks pretty good. I'll get this bacon cheeseburger. So you get the bacon cheeseburger, and it could be either like the best thing you tasted or the worst thing you tasted. But hey, it kind of defied your expectation, didn't it?
Yeah.
You saw something on paper was just like, hey, I know where this is going. I know what it tastes like. And hey, maybe it tastes different than when you tasted it, whether it's good or bad. But, it's all about just, being
Look.
calm and logical. And again, just taking that step back.
I just want to understand Wade Barrett. My man Wade Barrett said that this hatred from Drew McIntyre to CM Punk has been brewing since the start of years ago, 10 years ago. And I'm like, what the fuck happened in the supposed story that Drew McIntyre has a supposed hatred for CM Punk that's so stewed that even Wade Barrett knows about it and is involved, and it's almost from 10 years ago storyline wise. So I'm like, how important or big is the story could be?
And we'll probably get deeper into that now that we're probably gonna be getting this match at SummerSlam. We'll probably get a little deeper with that. Like there might be, I could actually probably picture like a sit down interview that somebody actually does. Maybe Wade Barrett holds it, and he's just like, Drew, I think it's time you kind of just tell everybody like what happened like back then, like anything in particular that happened, or if it was just the attitude that CM Punk had or whatever. But I don't know about y'all. I'm tired of it because we're probably gonna be seeing it a lot online until Raw happens.
Well, yeah, we're good because we almost spoke about 50 minutes exactly right now of this World Heavyweight title of Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. So I think we're good on it to move on. Good,
because we had another Money in the Bank women ladder match. We had the women's side of everything. We had Tiffany Stratton versus Chelsea Green versus Naomi versus Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky versus Zoey Stark. And there was a moment here. I drop nose exactly what I'm about to say. There was a couple moments here. I thought Zoey Stark was gonna win, and you would have seen a whole other rant coming from me about elevation, because okay, yeah, I don't know about that one, folks, but hey, at least she did do good tonight. Man, like she had like one spot, but
I would have been the only one here supporting Zoey Stark. I would have been like, you know what? If you got the name as a Stark, it's because you're destined for greatness, like our boy Tony Stark himself. He is Iron Man. Zoey Stark herself is Mrs. Iron Man. She could have been the Mrs. Money in the Bank.
And look where that got him. 6 feet in the ground.
I think her ass is like this that she does. I think so.
Oh my gosh. One thing I did notice too, and I'm surprised it took me until the women's Money in the Bank ladder match to notice this, because like the whole night we keep getting told, oh, we're sponsored by The Boys. Watch it on Amazon, blah, 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 which you guys should watch. I think it's a pretty good show. They had the Vault logo on the briefcases all night, and I'm just like, oh my God, why? Like, I get it because of sponsorships and all that, but I'm like, oh, so they're not going to be holding on to these briefcases for long, are they? Or at least in Tiffany Stratton's case, she's going to be, redecorating hers. But
yeah, she did say
this was a really good ladder match, though. Like, even commentary was blown away by it. Like, man, it was physical. A lot of great spots. I mean, you guys talk to me like I can gush about this for a while.
Look, like, I would say, Drop, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go first about this women's match because I was very shocked about it in the most positive way, that this women's match succeeded to be entertaining by the commentators. They said that this was probably the best women's Money in the Bank, and there's only been 6 now, so this is 6th one, lock in, chapter done. And I was really impressed with the woman. There's something that Io has a habit of stepping on women to climb the ladder. This is not the first time, and definitely won't be the last. Because last year she did it on Bayley, and this year she did it on Lyra Valkyria. I'm like, yo, Io, you have something on stepping on these people going to climb the ladder. Like, you know what? Let me use you as a step tool. So that was hilarious. out of this match, so out of the men's, I said Andrade was the MVP. This MVP deserves for the SmackDown U.S. Women's title that's being rumored right now. Chelsea Green deserves to be the fucking first women's champion for that U.S. title of the women's version. That's one. Zoey Stark, I don't know what happened. You had a botch there that hopefully you didn't get a concussion. Hopefully your head is good, my G, because everyone was like, hey, you're good. You literally missed the whole body and the ladder, and you hit your head on the ladder in the back. So, like, woman, are you fucking good? But then you kind of save yourself in doing what you needed to do to do the rest of the spots, and you did a great sell. I see that Dino Man, his MVP was Io. Great choice. Io was amazing as well. But to me, it was damn. I just drew blank. Who's the next
I mean, I
one?
can see why, because she had some pretty crazy selling, especially when she fell, especially towards the end.
Yeah, and
her beating the shit out of Lyra. Holy shit.
Yeah, because also Chelsea.
Oh my god, yeah.
Also Chelsea just taking that huge ass bump at the very end on both of those tables. It was insane. It was fucking insane taking those two bumps.
Oh yeah.
And her going down, she had her hands ready on her head. She protected herself. So proud of her. She did amazing.
Yeah, she had
that was one of my holy shit moments this match.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
There's another one we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, she actually had I actually saw Jordan Grace actually give her thoughts on this match as well, where she was talking about like girls and that did like crazy spots like that in TNA, and she mentioned Mia Yim and Chelsea Green, because that's not the first time Chelsea's taken a bump like that. She's actually taken a bump just like that in TNA before, so it's nice that they brought that to life in WWE.
Yeah, and when they said that,
I kind of forgot about that spot too. Oh, afraid of heights and all that. What's funny, okay, because I was watching the kickoff show and they were showing this segment. Apparently, like Chelsea Green and Kathy Kelly went to I forgot what the tower is over there in Canada, in Toronto, but they went over there, and like when you go to like the top of the tower, you're strapped to like these I'll just call them bungee cords. I don't know what they are exactly, but like you're strapped to them so that way you don't like fall off the edge and die. But like apparently Chelsea Green went there to like conquer her fear of heights and all that. And man, I saw that segment. I'm like, man, I feel good about my pick on Chelsea Green last night. Let's go, Chelsea. Let's do this. I mean, again, that's more of a heart pick because she's gotten it. Like she's earned it. She's earned it for me. But like.
Chelsea Green has to become the first U.S. woman champion, but for sure for this match, Money in the Bank. I thought she had it because there's one time when she was, I believe it was Chelsea Green, where she had the hook open. All she could have done was literally slide the briefcase up, and you're the fucking winner. You are the winner. But no, you fail.
But I do want to give some flowers to Zoey Stark, because like as much as a lot of people want to clown her online and all that, which she does mess up a lot, well, not a lot, but anyways, whatever. I'm gonna shut up with all that. She had the one botch tonight, which I'm hoping she's fine with, because it seemed like she hit her head, like she at least like bumped her head just slightly on the ladder, so hopefully she's fine from that. But like, she had a couple other good spots too from tonight. Like she had this one-armed power bomb that she did on Lyra, I believe, which basically took Lyra out for the whole match.
Yeah.
That looked pretty good.
Also, I gotta give credit to Lyra. She had a botch as well, but then Io Sky saved her from it, and then they just continue on with the moveset or the spot that was. So that was great to see that happen between Lyra and Io, that they had a great save for one another. But I felt bad for Lyra to have the botch. I'm not sure if it was like a misstep on her moveset or if it was a misstep from the ropes itself.
Right. But the other spot, this is how Io took her out. Like, I think what she tried to do was she tried to do like a power slam to Zoey, but she didn't get her in like Io or Zoey, either one. They weren't in the correct positioning for it, so it almost kind of looked like Io pulled off a pile driver onto the ladders, and God, like that was the other holy shit moment of the night, like. And then like Zoe's selling of that, like how she just kind of like hit the ladder and then she fell on her feet, but like she did that. It was kind of like a Rhea sell, because like sometimes Rhea sells like this, where like she kind of like gets up really straight and then just like flops over. Like, oh my god, Zoe's selling for that was fantastic. But like the fact she took that kind of a bump, like it especially with something that like didn't turn out as expected. My god, like. It was kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie. It was, oh, it was sick. Ooh.
I will say, Eel, you should take some anger management classes, because I think you're losing your temper a bit. I think you look kind of getting a bit angry, a bit too aggressive, because you was going ham on this lady. I believe Eel was going heavy on Lyra, I believe. I remember off the top of my head that she was going really ham on Lyra Valkyria, so it showed the consistency of the story between Io and Lyra over the past couple weeks. So hopefully it continues to have a story build more where Damage Control could still feel like they have power over the women division, and that has a nice type of supplement. And plus Tiffany, we haven't given the props to Tiffany and Naomi yet. Naomi was amazing. She was holding both ladders with a split of strength. I love how, if you look in the corner, I believe it was Tiffany that was holding the other side of the ladder so it could balance. If anybody caught that from the top camera overview where Tiff was holding it, the ladder. Zoey, I have a question. If you have somebody having the leg split between two ladders, why would you not just kick a ladder to the side so she could just trip off balance? Instead, you're just fighting her a one-on-one fair when she literally has no balance and no feet on the plywood/ring.
That's the thing. All you had to do was kick her leg. All you had to do was just kick the leg. At least one of them. There's two of them right there. You could have picked any one of them. There's knees. Like, oh, I know I just got done with like giving you your flowers and all that, but like just come on. You could have done a little bit more than be like, I will punch you in the face. It's like, no, you could have at least kicked the leg or kicked, like you were saying, Vash, kick the ladder and all that. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton wins. So, hey, that's cool. I'm excited for that. I'm sure she's going to do wonders with that briefcase and, like, just holding on to the briefcase, too. And, like, kind of like what we were talking about, you know, for the past couple weeks leading up to Money in the Bank. It's like, you know, her budding relationship with Nia Jax now. It's like, okay, now she has a muscle, a lot like kind of how Chelsea Green has now, but she has a muscle now that can, you know, take out or like be a part of like her getting the women's world, well, not women's world championship there, the women's championship on SmackDown. And I like how too we got a little interaction between some Tiffy time and Trishy time that they tried to push backstage. I don't know, that Trishy time didn't really hit for me. I don't know about you guys.
That failed miserably. It didn't hit at all. I don't know, I'm not sure if you gotta add more vowels or add more syllables, but it did not work out. Ultimately, it was a dead on type of zinger. It was not executed very well. I'm like, this is not gonna stick. Hopefully, they do not try again.
Yeah.
I also want to give credit to Naomi to thank you for finally taking our tables, because I want to give one thing credit due. The woman division, Triple H, you've been booking it very well for this year. The POEs for the Woman Royal Rumble, the Woman Elimination Chamber, and the Women's Money in the Bank, I will love to say has been better executed for them over the men's competition of the Men's Royal Rumble,
Mhm.
Elimination Chamber, and the Money in the Bank. Overall, the woman has been doing very well. Not saying who does better, who is this. No, I'm just saying overall execution wise,
Oh
story
yeah.
wise, it's been very well. Very happy with the winners over this past year. So far we already have
Mhm.
Tiffany, and it's Tiffany time. I highly agree with Whawkins just said. I'm very glad with the winner. My two choices was Tiffy or Chelsea. My dark horse was Naomi or Zoey. Zoey was just for the fun of it, but my dark horse was like, hey, I really want Naomi to be the one. Like, hey, just having a glow type of highlighter type of briefcase would have been bright as fuck. Some LED type of shit would have been mad extra, but it would have been hilarious to watch.
Mhm.
But for Chelsea Green and Tiffany to be the last two, like, possible choice right there, hey, who would it be? Oh shit, she just fell down. Boom on the boom on the table, and it's Tiffany time. And I love how she got her moment. Like, she just sat down properly. She just had the briefcase. She won. She just got to enjoy the moment, and I was very happy about that because I know since chat, you guys need to understand, since Tiffany Stratton moved to the main roster, since we started the show, the podcast, the Weebs of the Ring, out of all three of us, Drop has been pushing for Tiffy time to win Money in the Bank since I could remember, like March or April. So to finally come Money in the Bank, the first thing that I saw when Tiffany Stratton won Money in the Bank, I literally thought about, Nick must be happy. He's been rooting, hyping for Tiffany since day one. So I was just very happy for
Ish.
myself as a fan, and as a fan of my friend saying that, hey, he wants Tiffany to win. I'm like, yo, I'm all for it. You've been talking hype for her, and just to see her do this well, and after 3-4 months of us, producing the show, and to actually talk about to have Tiffany win, and she actually won, it's like, oh, this is fucking awesome. This woman should get her flowers due. She has the it factor. She's beautiful. She has the athleticism. She did an amazing moonlight. No, not moonlight. What's the-
Moonsault?
Moonsault. Thank you, Whawkins. A beautiful
Mhm.
moonsault. It was well done. That's why it's the most prettiest moonsault, the PMS. So it worked very well. So I'm happy. I'm a happy consumer. I'm a happy critic, and I'm a happy fan. I'm pleased.
I just realized you called her finisher PMS.
No, she has called that, not me. I'm taking her word. She has.
Oh, she has?
Yeah, she has
I,
called that.
I must have blanked that
Oh
out
yeah.
of my memory.
Oh yeah.
Then.
Oh yeah. The
I must have blanked that out of my
Right.
memory.
Yeah, she has. She has actually vocally said it in interviews and everything. Her moves
right.
is PMS called the prettiest moonsault.
Okay, all right. I must have just blanked that out of my memory then. So
Because,
okay, we're just gonna.
If I remember correctly,
Yeah.
she said that she takes a reference for somebody else that has a similar name like that for a moveset, but I forgot who it was, so I don't want to give a wrong name, but I remember it was a reference for
Yeah, no
somebody or something
problem.
like that.
Yeah, but yeah, cool. So again, match was really good. Match was really fun. Probably up there. It might be the best women's ladder match we've had, at least money in the bank wise. But I'd have to go back and rewatch some of them, especially from the past 8 years.
I've never seen them except the one of this year and last year, so I have to watch all of them as well.
Yeah, I do want to give my thoughts on this match as well.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, like Vash said, really happy that Tiffany won because I see a lot of potential in her, even though she did say that she only wants to wrestle up until age 30 because she does want to pursue a career in acting, which, good luck with that. I'm pretty sure she'll do great. But I'm happy that she's able to have this opportunity right now to show what she's capable of because ever since we started the show, I've been talking about for months that Tiffany needs to win the briefcase. Not saying nobody else could, but I just feel like it just felt like it was her time. Like sometimes, like when you jump into like the Money in the Bank season, you could sort of feel like you could sort of feel deep down like who's gonna win because you feel like it's their moment because you see all these different kinds of things throughout the year building to that eventual moment when they grab that briefcase from the very top because there was moments throughout this match where I was a little worried. Like, Zoe is a great wrestler, but there was some parts within this match where I thought that she was going to win the briefcase. So I like the little unpredictability there because it caught me off guard. It had me on the edge of my seat. So I wasn't sitting there throughout the entire match just saying, oh, okay, I know this is going to happen. Like, not saying that's a bad thing because it all depends on the booking. That's what matters most.
Yep.
But I do like the unpredictability of this match because it could have gone in multiple directions. I could have seen somebody like Chelsea Green winning this. I could have seen somebody like I'll give my thought, like Chelsea Green, for example. Perfect gimmick for her character. Would have suited her perfectly. The whole thing with Naomi. I don't know if anybody else has been noticing, but there's a little... it's almost like they're trying to build a little story between her and Bailey there.
Yep. That's
And then you also...
yeah.
And then you also got like Lyra, like Cole mentioned, you know, having that great success, being in the final of the King and Queen of the Ring. That would be like a big like rookie moment for her on the main roster after being there for not even like 3 months yet. So that would be a very big moment for her. But Tiffany Stratton, I'm really happy about, mainly because I'm really curious to see what's going to be happening in the next couple months. Because my gut feeling is I feel like Tiffany's only with Nia for a particular reason, only to get her to a certain level. And then once she gets to that level, she's just going to screw Nia over and grab that title. And it fits Tiffany because that's just the kind of character she is, using people to get where she needs to be. I can definitely see it heading down that direction. And I'm honestly like really excited to see like what the briefcase is going to look like. I already know it's probably going to be all pink. I mean, I think that's a given. Really curious to see how it's going to look. Like, that's one of the things I also like once they win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I always love to see like how it looks. Like, Io's kept hers the same, but I like how Priest had a certain design of his. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Tiffany's looks like on Friday. But a lot of these girls, like, I probably have to say this was my match of the night, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
I've seen a lot of people say online, and they didn't say this in a bad way, but they said like this. They said this match itself was it was pretty much. Where I'm trying to look for the comment right. Oh yeah, where is it? Oh yeah, right here. It was saying that it was pretty much like a beautiful train wreck of a match. Not saying it was like a bad match by any means, but the fact it was like very chaotic. It was all over the place. And the women have been on a roll lately, like Vash said, when it comes to Elimination Chamber, Women's Royal Rumble. And I'm really glad they're being showcased this way because I'm a huge advocate, just like Miss Mercedes, when it comes to women's wrestling. Because when I watch the shows weekly, I want to see what the women do because I'm really invested in their stories. And I'm very happy that they had a good showcase because even though some of these girls didn't win, it also elevated them. Like Chelsea Green, looking at what she did in here, looking at Io Sky, where she's always been great in matches like these. I mean, Io Sky's a star. Everybody knows that, and good luck to her for her match at Marigold this week. But this match itself, her and AJ are having their matches in Japan this week.
I forgot that was this week.
This week? Oh shit! No wonder we haven't seen AJ in a bit. Because I was literally just thinking about that today. I'm like, we haven't seen AJ in a bit. Makes sense because he's probably training or traveling or to go over there right now.
Oh yeah.
Shit, time has flown fast.
But overall, this was a great match. I'm honestly just really happy to see where this is gonna go. Like I mentioned earlier, the people out there complaining about Money in the Briefcase being wasted or whatever, even though it wasn't. You guys want to see a star in the making. You got Tiffany Stratton right there, so hopefully you guys can enjoy that.
And that's the great part about having like two briefcases, because like where one can just be used very quickly or, you know, for storyline purposes, you could have the other one building up that superstar and all that. So it's great. It's awesome. It's fantastic. I kind of agree with you too. This was probably my match of the night as well. Yeah, it was just really good, I thought. And I do want to go back and kind of rewatch it, just kind of make sure I didn't miss any anything really with it. But we're just gonna move right along. We're gonna move on to our main event, which, like, looking at it in hindsight, it's just like I kind of struggle wondering why it was the main event. Because, like, you could have had the World Championship match be the main event and still
That's
done
what
what
I.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. We had our 6-man tag match. We had RKO and Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline Junior. And I like how our lineup for the Bloodline Junior was Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Solo Sikoa. That way, we're showcasing Jacob Fatu since he's brand new to the roster. We're doing more with Tama Tonga being the right hand man, and of course, infamous Tonga Loa's just got to be at ringside to botch even a simple low blow later on in the match. But I mean, this was pretty much what I was expecting from this match and from all 6 of these guys. KO was ready to just like mess up everybody. Like, he took like a
He
couple
wanted to
minutes.
give
He
the
was
hands.
yeah, he was like, especially at Jacob Fatu, he was staring that man down like with daggers. He was ready to throw down with that guy, which I'm kind of hoping that's a SummerSlam match. Like, give me KO versus Jacob Fatu in like a last man standing match or something.
That will
Like,
cook so well. That match between them will cook
those
so well.
men would destroy each other. Like, it would be good. But yeah, this match again, like, it was basically what I expected to happen. Just even throughout, having, some spots of Jacob Fatu, like, shining a little bit here and there. And, like, not too much, just to, like, enough to kind of wet our palates a little bit to be like, okay, this is what Jacob Fatu is all about, which I like how we're building him up as an enforcer figure, as somebody that's like, okay, Randy Orton can hit his vintage DDT. That's cool. That's neat. But Jacob Fatu is going to hit that R1 button and immediately get up from that spot. Like, I like how they're doing it, but I'm just going to leave it up to you guys, because, like, I really don't have much to say about it, because, like, a lot of what happened, again, is what I was expecting.
Drop. I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, this is only for Roman, by the way. But honestly, I'm gonna have to agree with Whawkins. I really don't have that much thoughts on this match, because I think me and you spoke about this last night when it came to our predictions for the show, or at least like when I was in the comments when you guys were doing the show. I believe me and you had the same mindset with this, where we thought that's why I put up the Kurt Angle meme on Twitter if anybody was watching or saw the tweet.
Oh yeah.
But I had a feeling going into this, especially with the rumored match at SummerSlam, that Solo was going to get the win over Cody, because realistically, that's the only way he's guaranteed to get a title match. Because at least there's reasoning there now, where Solo can go up to Cody and be like, "Well, I pinned you, so you owe me a title shot." Because any other way, Cody would probably say no, because he doesn't want nothing to do with the Bloodline, so he wouldn't want to put his title up against the Bloodline, because he just thinks they're just pieces of crap. So at least this is... And the only way this is honestly happening, just to be upfront about the whole entire thing, it's just building to that legendary Roman Reigns return we're going to be getting next month in SummerSlam, because after seeing this, it's pretty much confirmed we're getting Cody and Solo at SummerSlam, and that just screams Roman Reigns is coming back.
Yeah, because a lot of people thought it was gonna happen tonight.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I saw that
way
too.
too early for that. It's way too early for Roman to be back. And
I also, it is very too early. And I also saw as well that he was attending his father's funeral as well.
Yeah.
So it really wouldn't make sense for him to be like popping up in Canada for the pay-per-view. I'll be honest, as much as I enjoyed this pay-per-view, it doesn't feel like a pay-per-view that needed Roman to show up in. Like when Roman Reigns is there, like we've seen with Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns is normally there for like those big PLEs to get those, like Roman says, like those moments where you get a big pop. SummerSlam
Yeah.
is the WrestleMania of the summer. He's going to get a monstrous pop because they're pretty much building Roman to be one of the biggest baby faces in the company once he comes back.
Mhm.
And organically,
And-
not forcing it like the old regime did.
Exactly, like actually
Exactly.
doing it the right way that Vince wanted to do many years ago. Like Triple H is actually taking the ball and he's doing it the right way, where he's making those shots at the basketball hoop and he's actually doing things properly when Roman Reigns comes
Oh,
back, because
quick-
this is what they
Mhm.
want. Huh?
I was gonna say a quick thing as well to anybody that goes to a press conference. Please don't ever ask stupid questions that is the CEO or the chief content of officer that is Triple H, and he's in the predicament that he is married to the life of the company and the person that's getting prosecuted. Please don't ask stupid such questions, because you're wasting a question to be asked by somebody else that actually wants to know about the event and how it did, or the superstars. So you just wasted a whole question, and it's just unprofessional. Like know by the time and place. Like, this is a press conference, but understand that this is a press conference for a Money in the Bank event.
Did they actually do that tonight?
Yes, yeah, they
Yeah, they asked him about Vince.
and
This-
Like,
And he literally
That's-
said,
yeah.
I'm not legally to respond." So, and he's like, "All right, we're moving on to the next question." And I'm like, "Why?
Yeah.
Like, this is not the first time they did this.
What?
The last time they did this was I think back in WrestleMania." But it's just so very
Yeah.
disappointing to see that, like, me as a press person, I've gone to press, like, read the room. Like, don't just be there. Be grateful that you get invited. Be grateful that you get to be in there in a room with these type of celebrity superstars, these talented
Mhm.
entertainers. Don't make yourself or your outlet a fool of yourself. Like, read the room and understand the type of questions you're about to ask. You are representing your outlet, your company that you are working for or part of.
Yeah, exactly. And just saying one thing like that, that can definitely change the feel of the entire environment in the room. Because it's the moment somebody mentions that, you can feel like the mood change in the room. And
Yeah.
that's definitely not something you should be
Mhm.
bringing up in stuff like this. Like, ask questions about the event. Like Punk was there. He was
Yeah.
asking people asking him questions about Cena, or when they were getting in depth with Cena's retirement tour, like actually asking him legitimate questions, and he actually gave you a pretty good rundown of how everything's orchestrated. That's what you do at press conferences. Your
So-
fucking shit outlets.
I just wanted to state
Mhm.
that out, because for people need to understand that, hey, we are fans, we're critics and everything, and you want to know. But if Triple H, he cannot be stressed himself to be asking or answering these questions. He needs to know about the events. Ask him about, like, for example, like Whawkins, we're on this topic of the 6-man RKO of Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline. Junior, me, what do I care about this? That fucking Cody Rhodes got pinned. Am I mad about it? Hell fucking yeah. But for story purposes, it makes sense. For the rumor that's going on for SummerSlam, that's Cody for Solo, what it is the most organic way. How can you get to the front of the line? You have to be like AJ Styles, that has had 20 plus years in the business and could lie and say, "Hey, I'm gonna retire," and then just do a little 1-2 step and lie, and just knock down the
Yeah.
champion and say, "Hey, I'm a front of the line, bitch. I'm gonna get my rematch. Go round 2, let's go." So you cannot do that. But
Mhm.
for Solo, he cannot retire because he just started his career. So the only way to do that is, hey, I'm gonna pin your
Yeah.
ass, because I'm gonna get my enforcer Jacob Fatu literally knocking your ass down. And
Yeah.
my MVP for this match is Jacob Fatu. This man
Oh yeah.
was enjoyable to see. I don't know.
Oh my
I
God,
don't-
yes.
I don't know if anyone read my comment, but it's hard to love Jacob Fatu in his menacing style on the main roster when you have seen his interviews. He's the most sweetest heart and
Oh.
kind person in his interview. He loves talking about his kids. He loves just like, he just talks about his life. He jokes around about his arrest and everything. And then you see him on the
Mhm.
main roster. He's like, just looking, and just give you the facial expressions. And I just be laughing because I'm like, knowing him as a real person, seeing his character is like two different people, and I love that. So I have to give
Like,
myself like, wait a minute, remove the Jacob Fatu that you know, just watch the character on screen. Remove the two different people. Like fuck, I know him as a sweetheart, and right now he's supposed to be an asshole, and it's hard to take him serious.
well, like
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like, commentary the whole match are trying to put over the Bloodline Junior as like this new like destructive force, saying like, oh, how hard it was for them to get Jacob Fatu over the border, like, and I mean, you had other digs too, like towards Jay about getting over the board and all that, but
Yeah.
like. You had things like that. You had things about like how they were saying, Paul Heyman, who used to run places like ECW, who like advocated for people like Brock Lesnar and like dangerous people and all that. Like he was always around these people, and yet this new bloodline is something that even Paul Heyman is afraid of. Like, when you kind of start putting that into perspective, and especially thinking back to like the '90s when Paul was involved with ECW and the shit they did down there with everything.
Fucking
And
insane.
now Paul Heyman's afraid of his life with the people that he's surrounded. Like, that's, oh my gosh, that's like,
Age is a number. It gets to you. Sometimes when Paul he's like, yo, I'm too old for this shit. I can't do this no more. This is my life. Because look, even Michael Cole, Whawkins, you just brought up ACW and all the things that they just started saying this because of the Hall of Fame and Triple H, ripping up the Band-Aid where you can say whatever how it is. Even having Michael Cole mentioning Tama Tonga is one of the founding members of the fucking Bullet Club in New Japan. He even gave the acknowledgement that Tama Tonga is one of the founding members, just like AJ Styles and Finn Balor was back all those years ago. So to know that that's getting acknowledged as well from his resume to be announced in the WWE storyline, that's amazing. Like, to know that Michael Cole saying these things, like the commentators adding all these backstories to these characters in the bloodline, to know that we've only seen them in less than 2 months, but we're adding more layers than what it is. It's amazing. I love it, and I appreciate it.
yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, drop what have you been thinking about like this whole match? Because like, again, there's not too much to really talk about with it, because like I know at least on my end, a lot of what happened is kind of what I was expecting to happen,
Yeah.
and especially when we get to the finish and all that too. But it's like, I don't know, I kind of want to hear your thoughts about everything, especially with like how we're building up this new bloodline, especially
wish
from
we
like
had
the
more
past
Jacob.
couple weeks and all that.
That's my honest truth.
I mean, yeah, there's that, but
I
yeah.
wish we had more Jacob in this match. It was amazing just to get the fragments, the fucking fragments, guys. That we had the fragments of Jacob, like literally eyes staring at Randy. He's like, alright, cool. You just took me down. I got back up. When Randy went down to get in position for the RKO, and he had to slowly get back up because Jacob Fatu was already up, ready, waiting for him. I love it. I was like, oh, this is nice. This is what I love to see.
See, that's why I wanted with Bron with Sami earlier, where it's like he hit him with a Haluga kick, but he just got back up, and then he did it again, and he just got back up. That's what I was hoping they booked the match like that, because the way that they did that with Jacob, and Jacob was honestly the thing I love the most about this match, because as soon as I saw him step into the ring, I was like, okay, we can finally see this man in action. I'm excited. And I like how they did that with Jacob, because it goes to show that he's somebody that's not going to be taken down by like a simple DDT.
Yeah,
like he's gonna get. Even if Cody hits a crossroads, I would expect him to be like jumping up in an instant, just because of like how they're building this guy. Like the way that he is as an enforcer for Solo. As soon as he was added to that team, it made that team. It added a lot of extra weight to that team, just because of the force of Jacob Fatu. Like, that guy is a
Exactly.
monster. I've seen what he's capable of. I am super excited to see him in singles matches whenever he gets the opportunity, because I remember hearing people say many times before, a guy his size pulling off moves like that, because he looked a lot different before he came into WWE, and the kind of moves that he did when he was in other independent promotions was like out of this world. So just getting a little sneak preview of that, especially when he went on the top rope and he hit that move on Cody, it just goes to show that this guy is going to be like nasty moving forward. But like Whawkins said, when it came to the ending of this match, I mean, honestly, like, if I have to pretty much sum up like my whole entire thoughts on the match, just to break it down, it honestly was just build up for SummerSlam. That's really all it was. Jacob Fatu was the highlight of it, but it was just build up for SummerSlam. Cody solo at SummerSlam, easy way to get Roman back. That's literally the way I looked at it.
Yeah, and especially with like Tama Tonga, like he was the one that took the majority of the offense tonight. Like, I mean, again, freaking
KO was going through it.
Oh my
KO
gosh,
was fighting for his life.
Well, I mean, that's on the other team's side though. But like
you're talking
with the bloodline especially, it's like, again, Jacob Fatu, he was taking offense, but it really didn't do too much to him. But like, man, I felt kind of bad for Tama Tonga. Sometimes I was just like, man, you're supposed to be the right hand man, and you're taking a lot of the damage. Like, why wasn't Tonga low in the match so he could take all his damage?
You
but
felt
that's
for
cool.
Tama Tonga. I felt bad for Tonga Loa when he took that suicide dive from Cody, and he that dud on the announce table. I'm like, shit, you good, my guy? A little small concussion,
I hope he's
you
good.
So like the little small blood and just he was slightly sliding off, like, oh, that shit hurt. It's just bad, like either just bad landing, or hopefully he just healed up.
Maybe that's why he messed up that low blow.
Yeah,
like, maybe that's it. He hit his head too hard.
Yeah, he had to do a second one, which I was a bit thrown off. I'm like, wait, did he just do a double low blow? Like, that's a first?
Yeah.
Because at first, I felt like KO was walking away. I'm like, wait, didn't he hit you, KO? And then I'm like, he slowed down. I'm like, he's supposed to hit you again? Okay, cool. There was a line that Corey Graves said, and one of my favorite lines out of probably the whole night. And I don't know why, but it's just funny. He said, somebody get a doctor for the doctor. Because the doctor that is there by ringside that's supposed to help the superstars in case they actually get injured. It was Cody Rhodes, I believe, that it was by the ringside, and Jacob Fatu was about to do a takedown spear, and instead he got thrown off from the barricade to the little section to where Samantha Irwin and everyone else is, but no, the motherfucker got thrown off and he hit the doctor, and then because just Corey Graves' line is just like, hey, he needs a doctor for the doctor. We need this ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yeah. I felt bad for the doctor. I felt bad for that ref. Like he took a couple, especially that last bump he took. Oh, I felt so bad for the dude.
But I felt how I laughed how the ref had to slowly slide out of the ring just to get into the spot. It was hilarious how he was just slowly like, let me just slowly get off the ring. I'm like, damn, ref.
I think he had a tweet too. About like something about like, man, that hurt times 2, or it was something like that. He had some tweet come out about that. I don't know. I like things like that where it's just like, oh, look, they know what's up. They know how to play ball and all that. But yeah, so I mean, again, like Solo Sikoa pinned Cody Rhodes. That's how we're gonna be getting to Cody versus Solo. It's probably when Roman's gonna come back and all that bull honky, lovely stuff. But like, I mean, other than that, I mean, the match served its purpose. I mean, KO got some good offense in, showing how big of a fighter he is. I'm hoping that leads to the eventual, like, maybe one-on-one with him and Jacob Fatu, because again, he was like staring daggers, like he was not moving. I even stutter to think if he was even breathing at that point. Like
Oh
that guy
yeah.
was like, he was locked in, just like staring at Jacob Fatu, like ready to just mess that man up. I'm like, dude, chill. Like you'll be fine. You'll be able to beat him up. Don't worry. He's gonna get in the ring soon. You'll be fine, Kevin. Ah man, but yeah, again, like Solo pinning Cody makes sense because how else is he gonna get the match? You know, he's been on a losing streak as it is. Why not just pin Cody in a tag match? Cody's fine after that again because like it was a lot of double team maneuvers going on against him. He was, you know, outnumbered and all that stuff. Plus, like, you gotta sell the Samoan Spike. Like that is a devastating move, unlike other moves like the Stomp, for example, earlier in the night, getting kicked out of by Damian Priest. It's like, you know, let's protect some of these finishes just a little bit more.
Also, last thing with Solo, please fix your damn spear. It looks a bit sloppy, or it looks like a bit like you
Or just
can't-
don't do it.
That too.
Don't do the
it,
spear.
but it seems like every Samoans have to do it except The Rock. It just seems like a lot of the Samoans starts to do it now, or it seems like that's the only type of regime, and I wish it wasn't. I'm shocked a ref did not run down. But I guess they were all used for the Money in the Bank for the men's and women, so I guess the one wasn't available to run down the ramp because I'm like, usually around this time they would send another one just for story purposes or just to have a countdown. But I'm guessing the last one, his name was Jason. He was the last one that we're supposed to have and just stick with the spot that he's supposed to get hit by about Jacob Fatu by the steel cage, so it makes sense. But nice spot by the ref. For a second, I thought he died, like just getting squeezed, like pah. He's out for the count.
Yeah.
We need another ref now. So it was dope to also see Cody Rhodes say, "All right, ref is down. Let's do whatever the fuck we want. Let's take down." For a second,
Oh, yeah, no.
I thought he was about to do a power, a power slam by carrying Solo with KO and Randy. I thought it was about to get executed. I'm like, this is nice. We're about to do the thing that they did with the Shield back then. This is an homage to that, but it didn't happen though.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. I'm glad Cody kind of took charge with that. Just like being, we're not having any of this. I know how this is gonna go down. We're gonna end this and all that. But yeah, again, Solo wins. He's gonna face Cody at SummerSlam. That looks like where we're going with our main event. Cool, awesome, neat, fantastic. But overall, Money in the Bank thoughts. Drop. Go ahead and let me lay down the knowledge. How'd you think of Money in the Bank overall tonight and this year? I guess.
Overall for this year, highlight for me would probably have to be John Cena's retirement because he means a lot to me, especially since he's somebody that I grew up watching ever since I was a little kid. So that's definitely going to be a big talking point for Weebs of the Ring in 2025 when it comes to John Cena. And I am looking forward to that video that we'll eventually do down the line that Vash said, giving our thoughts on John Cena's career. That's probably going to be a very fun video to do. So that was my highlight. Tiffany winning the Women's Money in the Bank made me extremely happy because I wish nothing for the best for her. So I'm super excited to see what she's going to do. Great showing for all the men in the Money in the Bank match. So I give props to all of them. I love how the briefcase was utilized to enhance CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's feud because when you get those feuds where they just want to tear each other's heads off, those are the good feuds. I mean, look at how many people Austin pissed off all those years ago. And CM Punk actually happens to be a big fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin, so you can see a little inspiration there.
Exactly.
And then great showing for Bron Breakker. Not upset that he lost because at the end of the day, that was a star-making performance, just like how it was when Tiffany Stratton went up against Becky Lynch. She lost that match, but that's the match that really enhanced Tiffany, put her on another level. I could say the same thing about Bron. He has a bright future ahead of him. And other than that, besides getting Jacob Fatu in a match, I was super excited for, and I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do. And seems like SummerSlam is actually shaping up pretty well. because at least the only confirmed matches that we have, just shaping of what we got out of SummerSlam tonight. I mean, out of Money in the Bank tonight, is Drew McIntyre and Gunther is officially confirmed, and then we already knew that Nia and Bailey was confirmed. So I'm just super excited. The rest of July, seeing what's going to be happening on Raw. Definitely if all the shit that broke down. Really curious to see if Drew's going to get a fine from Adam Pearce or he's just going to get kicked out of the building completely. That's what I'm saying. You're getting good television. Don't complain about a silly little briefcase. You're getting good television right now. Yep. That's the best thing.
All right, well, Vash, what about your final thoughts on Money in the Bank?
Look, fuck the trolls, fuck the people online, and you gotta know about 3 things in life: hustle, loyalty, and respect. Those are my 3 mottos, like it is to live by. And who is retired tonight? Because I don't know what you're talking about, Jock, because at the end of the day, I couldn't see him. He was not seen to us. I would be definitely.
I am going to super kick.
I would be definitely owning my first shirt material product from John Cena. I'll be definitely buying the shirt, the towel, and the hat from John Cena on his newest merch, because that's something I've never owned a physical branding, marketing of John Cena over all these years, and I literally have grown up watching him in his career in the past 22 or the past 2 decades already of his career. I am sad, but like I said earlier, it's an uphill battle of emotions that is thrilling to see and experience of my first call whenever Monday Night Raw coverage comes around on Netflix 2025. The first one, I'll be reviewing an experience that I'm watching of John Cena live on air, and it would be a great one to just have experience to talk about. And I will be sad and crying whenever his last match happens. I will probably not be here doing the show. I'll probably be at the event itself, because I will definitely do my best wherever the last match, the last event that has been announced for John Cena himself. I would definitely like to be there on the world tour or on the nation tour that they're trying to do. And you know what? Let's keep it simple. Money in the Bank happened. My boy Jey Uso should have won, but hey, it happened. Drew McIntyre pushed a story. Like Drop said, we get drama. We get, what is it that Roman said that the kids are talking about nowadays? Cinema. Cinema.
Well, yeah, cinema.
Peak Vision.
Cinema.
We had our boy Sami Zayn, the underdog, the Captain America for me. He said that he can do this all day, and he did. He took down the Bron Breaker himself. And yo, Dino Man, I love that you put croissant. Croissants are my favorite bread. I just want to say that. 23 miles an hour, this man, Bron Breaker, runs. If you get a spear by this man, you will be out for the week. That man is hurt. That shit is pain. And Women's Money in the Bank, Zoey Stark, my man, you are the MVP. Psych, I'm sorry, I was joking. That was Chelsea Green. You was the MVP. Thank you very much for this great match, Chelsea Green. And Cody, you are my champion. But fuck you, Solo. I don't acknowledge you. I acknowledge Roman Reigns now. Before I never did. But I acknowledge Roman Reigns. Do we want Roman? Yes, we finally do, organically, like it does to be deserved. And Cody, I can't wait to see what type of promo work you give for next week to push Solo. And Solo, we're about to hear your actual first promo in ring without Paul Heyman. So I'm really curious to see how you're gonna do that full promo without no backup supports in your mic work. So I'm really curious to see. Good luck to you. I'm not want to see you fail. I want to see you succeed. So best of luck in what you can do.
All right. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I thought Money in the Bank was pretty dang good. You know, I thought the action was really good. I thought the storyline progressions were really good. The character work was also really good. I was quite pleased with everything. And, you know, moving forward, I think we're in for a really great SummerSlam here in the next month or so, and we'll be talking about everything going into SummerSlam as we have the shows and as we go on with our summer of, I almost said summer of punk, but hey, maybe it is kind of a summer of punk. But I'm just going to leave it off there. And Vash,
I know,
just really
I know, I
quickly,
know.
just
I'll be
tell
quick.
tell the people where they can find us
Look, chat.
outside of the
We're
stream.
fucking tired. We are up at 2:31 in the morning of EST right now. You are here watching us on the YouTube side. Like the video, like the stream. We appreciate. Continue giving us a like. Don't take it away from us. If you do, tell us what we did wrong to entertain you. Like I said, tell us in the comment section below, like you've been watching the VOD. If we have entertained you in any way capacity about Weebs of the Ring, Anime Lily Podcast, Shona Roni, or any of the videos that we have posted, if you've been entertained, then subscribe. If you're watching us on twitch.tv/AnimeWe Studio, definitely go check that out, because we're going to be doing more of gaming, more side casting, more things coming up. SummerSlam is coming up. Things are going to be cooking up. Thank you very much, and all the handles of where to find us are down below. And most importantly, I want to give you guys for an after show from, we started at 11 late to almost EST of 12 a.m. to now 3 in the morning. We have had 300 almost people in the chat that have watched the stream. Want to give you guys a quick shout out and appreciation. We have had almost 10 likes, and we have had 10 people of peak concurrent viewers, so we appreciate that. Want to give you a shout out, just like Triple H. We gotta talk about the numbers before we end the show. We appreciate it, and thank you. Back to you, Whawkins.
Yep, and of course, appreciation always appreciated. So thank you guys so much for taking time every day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do exactly what Vash just said? We are known as AniMa Studio on all social media platforms. Just remember, that's we with a 3. Also, use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us about anything regarding wrestling before, during, or after our shows. Feedback is always appreciated, as we are nothing without you tuning in. Weebs of the Ring is presented by AniMa Studio. Thanks to our production team of Vash, Whawkins, DropThisBox, Rome, and Jokester, as well as special thanks to JB and Abe. Thank you for joining us, and remember, as always, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, everybody, and just
Have a good
remember
one.
to always acknowledge your tribal chief.
Fuck Solo. Suck it.